All right, all right. We are about to begin.
The flashing
Hello.
GIF. I don't even know what it is, but it's very pleasant. It's like staring into a fire, you know?
Yes, yes, of course.
Well done, my friend.
Uh,
Well, let me figure out this
it's good to
headphone
see you.
situation, and then we
All
can.
right.
It's good to see you, man.
Good to see
Hope
you
your
too.
Wednesday has been well. For anybody who is listening, welcome to this
Yes, welcome.
this odd, insightful, eccentric space.
Yes,
You're
yes,
all welcome.
yes.
Come as you are.
As you were.
Speaking of that, what this whole Mr. Beast thing? Do you want to dive into that? Because it's
Mr.
news to
Beast.
me. Yes. Do you want to distill that
What did
for
he
for
do?
me?
What did he do this time? Did
Okay, so you're not
did he,
aware of his whole media thing that involves the trans fats.
uh I
Who do
just
we have?
googled it.
Who do
I
we
just
have?
googled Mr. Beast.
Perfect. Who do we have
And
here? Who's this?
this is Gretel. This is Miss
Oh,
Gretel. Oh no,
oh, what
Gretel.
an affectionate little pup. I'm sure she's
Yes.
older.
She's almost 4 now, I believe. She's 3 and
Oh,
change. She's a lap hound from way back. Ever
lap
since
hound.
puppyhood. Yes. I mean, technically she's a dachshund. A
Okay.
badger hound. but but this one is more of a lap hound. We just got done playing Tug the Frog, which is
It's like the frog.
yes,
Classic.
yes, it's known well by many four-legged playmates around the yard. It's not so common with us.
Tiger the frog.
The thumbed.
Did he find a real one? Or did she find a real one? Or
No,
was
no,
it
this
was it a
is
toy?
this
Okay.
is a toy. Yes, it's meant to be
Okay.
tugged on,
So you
but
were trying to take away a frog that she had caught, because that's never fun. Well, I mean,
no, that would be tough. She would rip it apart. If I grabbed
yeah,
onto it, it would be over. And she demonstrates
yeah.
this to me with the play frog. She puts her whole body into like
The
fast back and
thrash.
forth, like it's gonna snap it. And her whole form does this. I mean, she.
Interesting. It's that's similar to what crocodiles do with the roll, the death roll, where they just like they grab on and they just like twist to rip off limbs off of deer and larger
Yeah,
prey.
or whatever. Yeah, I've
Amazing
seen them
creatures.
rip arms off of each other. It's like they're in a feeding
Oof.
frenzy and they grab another croc's arm and they start to turn
Ah,
like and they just twist it off.
oh no. Would they be considered like upper body or lower body oriented creatures? They're just snout. They're just
Yeah,
mostly
they're kind of
snout.
flat. They're horizontal creatures. They attack to the side usually. I mean, they run, but they generally attack with a sideward motion. Yeah, now that come to think of it, I think that like in fish, they have the same thing. It's just like the every muscle contracts one side and then the other, in
Uh-huh.
perfect harmony. Otherwise, they can't swim. The same thing with the reptile, that kind of like
Yeah, it's
impulsive
got to be.
full
They got to do
spinal
the
cord.
wave. They got to do like.
Yeah,
It's got to be a one motion kind of a thing, movement. You're
yeah,
absolutely right. It's like
yeah,
people with walking. Imagine walking without any momentum. How much more effort and more, just like how much more energy would have to be used if there was no momentum in walking or running.
Yeah, momentum's pretty important. I mean, walking without momentum is just like lifting one leg, isn't it?
Yeah, you're just
Aren't you
you're
just going to
doing
stand there?
you're
You
doing
have
a
to
lot of
lean
work
forward.
for very little outcome. The ratio to
Yes.
work the work to effort ratio is low and without momentum. I wonder what it's like in space though, where there's no atmosphere.
Yeah, no one can hear you scream, uh, as I've heard from Alien, because it's a vacuum, right? It's no.
So they say. I mean, it's
But
empty, so they
who
say.
believes in science these days? Uh,
Oh, that's a good
s-
subtopic to dive into
s-
at some point today. There's a physicist named Hermine. What's his name?
Hermione Granger?
No, something Hermione. We'll get to it. But he's a physicist that isn't necessarily from a physics background or science background, but he is kind of self-taught to some degree. He didn't go through the school system, but he did
Hmm.
propose a unified field theory. And I believe he's French Canadian, something like that.
Oh, wonderful.
We'll get to it. All right. Let,
He's
let's
French
put
Canadian, a
let's
unified
leave
field
that.
theory. All
Let's
right.
put a little tab. I'll open a tab for him. Hermaine.
Right, because
Hermaine.
Hermaine is probably the diametric opposite of Mr. Beast. Like
Yeah,
Mr. Beast
yeah.
is famous the world over, and he's 24 years old. He was born in 1998. He was born in
Holy
1998.
shit, dude. He's way younger than me. I mean, like
And
five,
his
6 years.
Instagram bio says, I want to make the world a better place before I die. Also, in parentheses, go to your local Walmart and buy my chocolate, please. Spelled PLZ. And he has
Hmm.
25.2 million followers.
Do you think is to achieve that? How much of his time and effort is devoted to creating a following? Let's start there. Like for you said he's 24. Yeah, he's 25.
Yes. Yes, 24.
So I don't know when he started, but he seemed to have figured out a way to monetize almost everything that he does, or has found the ratio of um, the ratio of viewership to monetization, right? Like the amount,
Yes.
anticipating how many views something would get, and then figuring out, like how to sell that. I haven't seen much of his material besides just a few clips, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
not really like a follower or fan or anything, but I have just briefly glanced some of his things. And one of the things that I saw was him spending him and four other guys spending 60 hours in Antarctica. And at some point, get this, at some point they're like, well, the whole goal was just to survive the 60 hours, or whatever, a couple days.
Yeah.
At some point they're like, we're gonna go climb this mountain, and since it's never been like climbed before, we get to name it because that's what people can do, I guess. So what he did
You can call him
was,
out in whatever you want. Yeah.
yeah. If you go to a distant enough area, there's got to be some sort of hill or
Yeah.
something that hasn't been named. So what he did, he went up there, and what he did was he made it an ad read. He essentially named the mountain, get this, Shopify. He's like, I dubbed this Shopify, and he does the ad read up there, and he's like, I mean, like from one side, it's kind of brilliant. From another side, it's just like, what else are you gonna sell? What else? You're
I
selling your
mean,
your experiences, your time. Like it's all couched in monetization, and maybe that is a way to go about. I mean, as an entertainer, but at the same time, if every single facet of one's life is seen through the prism of monetization, then I mean, what are you really than just like working for Amway? You know, it's like where there's
Yeah,
like 40% of your mind is just like dedicated to trying to sell shit to people. Sorry
sure.
for that rant.
No, it's pertinent to I think everyone's situation, uh, like how you devote your time and what your time is worth,
Mm-hmm.
and, why would you seek to multiply and monetize every action you have. Uh, some people look at life as a transaction between, it's like money over time. It's an equation. You know, like how much money can I get over a certain period of time, and what is the rate of that
Yes.
money exchange over time. So I have, a couple of inputs to tweak and how much work I could do per day to earn money. Like, if everything I did earned money, wouldn't I earn a lot more money? Yeah, maybe. But if everything you do earns money, do you even want to do anything you're doing? If you start doing things to earn money, and you earn a lot of money and you get rewarded for earning money, uh, does that shift your reward system and your
Mm,
desires to be entrained towards to like things that make money? And then the things that make money are amoral. Who knows what makes money, right? You can make money by destroying a nation. You can make money by feeding the poor. I don't know how, but there's got to be a way. Um, you know,
you get
you can
enough
make money by
views.
shipping. Yeah, you could entertaining people is a good way to make
Yeah.
money. They'll people throw pennies in the street to a monkey who smokes a cigarette. People will, throw pennies from all over the world to a man who goes on to Twitch streamers uh, pages, like young women who are there to show their sexual fertility to the camera and like expose their chest and stuff to
Yeah.
get money from people. So they send Mr. Beast money, and Mr. Beast gets in their chat and says, "I just want to respect you. Like I respect women so much. Like that's almost all he talks about. I just from a real night like Malay. He sends them thousands of dollars and
Yeah.
just like go crazy, just boom, 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 one after another. And they don't know him, like even though he's famous, but they're not really into the scene. He's so famous, but they don't know him at all, so they're like surprised. Like, oh, Mr. Beast, like they they're like, oh, that was money, Mr. Because they don't know his name. They're like, oh shit, Mr. Beast is in my chat. The guy with 145 million YouTube subscribers.
So now on to the present, on to the present with this recent new. So we've established that this individual has figured out a way to monetize most of his material, if not all of his. He's doing good in the sense that
Yes.
he's using his views to raise money, to do good things. To it's like this cycle. I guess that he's developed a an identity for himself of somebody who is a young entrepreneur who is
Mm.
pragmatic maybe or at least has good intentions but also has a massive following. Okay, so now to today, so given that he has this massive viewership and is very popular online, especially with young adults,
Mm.
what has happened with this whole relationship? So he was friends with somebody for a very long time, a friend of his who who was married, who had a child. Um, that person is now trans and his new partner. If I'm let's fact check this to make sure that everything I'm saying is
That's
correct.
not a. I'm not
Let's get to it.
doubtful. That was not the facial expression of doubt.
No,
That you
I want to
might
be
have had.
sure that I want to
Wait.
make sure that because it sounds outlandish, right?
So
Like from the
it's not Jimmy. It's
go ahead and
somebody else.
read through some of the headlines if they're whatever is out there.
All right. Top stories for
Okay,
Mr.
here we go.
Beast. Mr.
Mr.
Beast
Beast.
YouTuber Chris Tyson. Is that the individual?
I believe so. I believe so.
I see. Insider says TikTok removed 8 transphobic videos about Mr. Beast star Chris Tyson. Censorship is at play here. People's headline: Mr. Beast YouTube star Chris Tyson shows off transformation after starting hormone replacement therapy.
Direct. Yeah.
Pink News, always a good source. Who is Mr. Beast YouTube star Chris Tyson? Sexuality, gender, wife. That's their headline. Praised for sharing HRT journey, also from Pink News. So much
Hormone
respect.
replacement therapy journey.
Yes.
Which is
Mr. Beast's sidekick, Chris Tyson, revealed he has started, quote, life-saving hormone replacement therapy in the Daily Mail 2 days ago. Who are they? Is this a woman who's been taking testosterone? Or is his friend and collaborator? These are gender neutral terms. I can't tell.
so I believe he was a male who had a family, who was married, who had a kid. Like, look at the before and after
All right,
situation. It's pretty startling.
let me pull up the screen share. This is startling indeed.
It's startling because of his
development has
viewership,
occurred.
his massive viewership, coupled with the culture.
Yes, it's really hot right now. It's in
It
fact,
normalizes it too. You know, that's the issue that I
but more
see.
importantly, you can monetize it. That's the most important
Ah,
thing.
dang, you're totally right, man. You are right about that.
And it comes fresh off the heels of another uh, transformer occurrence,
Transformer.
right? Another shapeshifter. Praying for you. Sneeko responds to Chris Tyson after Mr. Beast member counter trolls controversial streamer for his HRT comments. Okay. All right. This is YouTube beef. YouTube drama is notorious clickbait.
Absolutely.
But
They're getting
wait, hold on a second. Now
a
we've got
response to the
something
algorithm.
finally.
Okay.
Let's look. This. Hold on a second.
Yep.
Wait, let's zoom in with all of these ads. All right, Microsoft Azure. Okay, so this is, oh boy. This is what we're looking at here. This is Chris Tyson's wife, Katie Tyson, on Sports Manor of all things. Look at this beautiful family in front of a very nice house in a very nice neighborhood, I guarantee. And then And then what are we looking at here?
Somebody going through TRT.
This
H or
this looks like a
HRT.
teenager that is, like a little older
If Malcolm in the Middle
teenager.
was goth.
Yeah, yeah, in a way, but also kind of clammy and unhealthy. Like something is amiss about
Yeah.
the shape of the body and color of skin somehow. Like I don't know what it is. Like this woman and son, if this is what he's meant to look like, because that
Yeah.
has to come from this as well, somewhere from the front, you know. But
Chromosomes.
like how I don't under I don't understand. I'm sorry, I'm a little at a loss for words. Chris the alt god. Oh, is that a little
Oh.
is that a little too on the nose? Is it is it a little bit too much?
It's like
Informed
interesting.
consent. What an interesting phrase. What does that even mean? Informed consent.
Well, the
Like
fact that he says that HRT saved his life, it's maybe too
in
soon.
many others'
Maybe
lives.
maybe
Believe
maybe he
him.
spoke too soon, because the suicide rate is pretty damn high, my friend. So it's like
Yes.
if you get past that, then
Yes. The suicide rate, and not just that, but also life expectancy in general. Everything goes down, and the common
yeah.
counterpoint to that is usually, well, it's because they haven't been accepted by society. There are a lot of people who aren't accepted by society. Should we hold society hostage to accept everyone for what they do? Otherwise, they're going to unalive themselves, or go into a Christian school and unalive people.
Well, before social media, these people tended to weed themselves out.
Well, yes, I mean they weed themselves out of the gene pool by not
Yeah,
reproducing, but
yeah, that's one of the
it's
ways.
not just the gene pool. It's like it's the culture as well, right? So they're
Mm-hmm.
they're weeding themselves out of the gene pool by not reproducing, except their culture is still reproducing,
It's like fungus.
right? So it's contagious. It's a cultural contagion. Not to use
You could say that.
too fine a point on it, but
That's a good point.
uh,
That's if we can address that in that way, then it seems like we have a cross contamination of a lot of things happening in the culture right now, right? And there's
cross
emphasis being put
contamination.
a lot of emphasis being put on this kind of cultural phenomena, whether it's you know people that they're putting on magazine covers, on the covers of Time, and I'm sure there's other people on there as well, but like the
Oh yeah, Time
there's
magazine has a long and storied history of
oh
putting
yeah.
some real winners on the cover.
So what are your reactions just like viewing this story? Is this you like seeing it for the first time or
Yes, this
encountering
is
it for
me
the first
seeing it
time?
for the first
Oh,
time.
okay.
And
This is the reaction video of
yes, yeah, you're
Mr.
getting
Beast.
my these are my face wins.
I
These
wanna
are
I'm,
gifts to clip.
I'm
Like
watching you process it, and like it's like
it's
what could you
very
say?
sad. It's very sad. Like not like Donald Trump, like sad. Like passive
Yeah.
aggressive sad. It's actual sad. It's literally sad. But
Man.
somehow,
And 24 million people, are gonna be inclined to accept this because they're either a fan of the creator, or it's like a sympathetic kind of syndrome where people
Yeah.
feel like they know him as a creator, so they're going to be more open to the cultural.
Yes. His demographic
Yeah,
skews quite young.
I
Uh,
bet. What do you think his demographic
Male.
looks like?
And generally male.
Like
He's
16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, I'm
no
guessing.
younger as well.
Oh
He
wow.
has a large adolescent following. Uh, I don't remember the exact numbers, but that's the story I recall him talking about. And
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, that's a very influential time. You're looking for acceptance, and you have, you know, parasocial
Yeah.
relationships, or you're making attempts at belonging and being a part of something, being accepted. Being respected. Men look for respect, and women look for love, and a lot of times, you women look through sexuality to get love, and don't often find it because, you know, it's not necessarily connected for men as it is for women. But with men, they look for respect, and maybe I don't know, he didn't get respect, uh, and so he was like he's changing something. He didn't get respect as a man, but I mean he's a
Are you
wealthy
talking about
guy.
Chris, or are you talking about
Yeah,
the other guy? Okay. Because there's
yeah.
like
No,
there's
not Mr.
two
Beast. Yeah,
facets.
because
Because
that's another weird thing. Yeah,
yeah. Like
I
they
don't
each
know
have their
why.
own very unique kind of journey and story. But the fact that he's chosen to make this a public spectacle makes me wonder whether there was he has incentive for doing so besides just the impulse to share viral content.
Hmm. Well, it after the birth of his son, it said in Sports Manor, they he came out as bisexual, which I think means he come out as being gay, or right is
Or
I mean, so I don't understand. I don't really understand that term, because there's no need to make it two. It's just like it's the addition of one. Really, I don't know. That's besides the point. That they they got divorced apparently, and his wife named Katie says on a post on Instagram with her son, the caption was "He has risen" with a capital R. And given the timing, I think it's safe to assume that that's a reference
to the
to
Dark
not
Knight
the alt
Rising.
god, not the alt god, but the actual god, the the son of God.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes. So
Wow.
who has risen? So
Interesting.
that would be, I guess, a line in the sand. I mean,
Who
are
knows,
those
man?
things compatible? But
We don't.
that's that's
We're
what.
just getting a quick snapshot into this crazy culture. And we say
Yes.
crazy culture like our grandparents would speak about, the generation after them in the way that our parents speak about us, and it just
Yeah.
means that things are changing very quickly, and it seems like the only constant is change, but doesn't necessarily mean that we should
change that far.
expedite. We should doesn't mean we should expedite the process of our demise. You
Hmm.
know, sure, it's
Well, some
possible.
people are accelerationists.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
think
They build
that
they
it's
build
better to get
escalators.
it over with, save suffering. Just they're kind
Hmm.
of like, oh, I have a hangnail, just amputate. They're
Is that kind of like a black pill
it's a
mentality?
form of the black pill. Yeah, the
Okay.
nihilist. Uh, Generally, I would think also anti-natalist would go along with that. Um, and there's a lot that's anti-life in those movements. They're like
Yeah.
pro-abortion. Uh, I mean,
Yeah.
there's
It says a lot about the priority base of and just moral values of people in general, and the reaction to life, like the reaction to normality, to life. And it seems like language is being used to normalize a lot of these cultural, new cultural uh, atrocities. I don't know. Call them what you
cultural
will.
atrocities. That's pretty good. That's
But
that's a pretty
but
good
the
one.
things like there's something that it seems like the left is much better at using language. And I'm not like blaming anybody or pointing fingers, but like their ability to come up with terms that seem like they'd be helpful but aren't is just it's very good legalistic work, like the Patriot Act, things like that, things like gender affirming
Sure.
care. How
Yes.
how
Yes.
lovely does that sound? That just sounds like
Yes.
somebody giving you a hug, but it's genital mutilation.
Yes. It's like a bouquet of wakizashis. Like, oh, what? That's a neat. Is that a Japanese flower? No, no, it's a short sword.
Yeah.
Correct. Hey, girls, girls.
Well, well, well.
They, there's always somebody walking around, talking nearby.
Is there?
Yes, so they're used to being slightly separated, right?
Ah,
They're not as accustomed to such tight quarters where unknown parties are so close by. Like
uh-huh.
if they're within 50 feet, they're doing something because they can smell you within that space, and if you're anywhere nearby, if they can hear you, you get the bark. I don't know you.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like I know you're
Yeah.
there. I
Yeah.
know you're there. You
Hey,
better hear
hey,
my bark.
what are you doing? You up to
It's
no good?
valuable. It's
Yes,
valuable.
yes. In the zombie apocalypse, I think we'd want dogs. I think in any time
Oh yeah.
of
Oh yeah.
history, we'd want dogs with us,
Anything, really.
and
Any
they're
kind
quite
of
helpful.
situation.
A dog is a really, they're a welcome addition to most any situation. That's for sure.
Yes. Man's best friend. That's what they say in Russian.
Cats are they're like cinnamon. It's not for everything,
No.
but properly used in certain contexts, oh, it's
Yeah.
fantastic, and and a lot of times it's pretty good. It's
Pretty good.
sometimes you don't even notice it's there.
Sometimes it's too much.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's like, whoa, this whole thing is cinnamon.
It's like
I
the
gotta get out of
cinnamon
here.
challenge. You remember
Yes.
that? People were doing that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Joseph completed that successfully. I watched him do it. It was amazing. This was in college. He's like, yeah, I'll eat an entire teaspoon or tablespoon of cinnamon, and he was supposed to like keep it in his mouth for a certain amount of time, and he did, and then he ate it all. He swallowed it. Like, so I guess the whole point of the cinnamon challenge was that it doesn't allow you to like to salivate to process it, but he has an extraordinary digestive system. Joseph does.
I
So
see.
he
I see.
he lost. Or he won a bet. He won a bet. I wasn't the one who made the bet. It was a friend of mine. But I just watched it happen, and I was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
willpower to digest an entire spoon of cinnamon. There's a
Yeah.
famous video of this black lady doing the cinnamon challenge. I think we should watch it together. You know the one I'm talking about?
Uh,
It'll pop up. Let's see if we can.
I'm not
All right, all
sure,
right.
but
I'll try to confirm which one. Yeah, just type in cinnamon challenge and then woman. I'm sure it'll pop up on YouTube and I'll confirm. But it's just gold. It's internet gold. She's like, what's so challenging about cinnamon? It was so good.
Okay. Let's look. Is it
Be a black lady. Okay,
Black
it's cinnamon
Lady
challenge
Cinnamon Challenge? Is that what it is?
by Glowzell. Glowzell is the creator.
Okay. Yes. All right.
So-
I think
Very good.
we got it here.
Very well.
Woman
11 years ago.
does Cinnamon Challenge.
Here we go. Here we go. Thank you, Glowzell.
Hello, this is Gloza. Is you okay? Is you good? Because I wanted to know. Okay, so 150 kabillion people have been asking me to do the cinnamon challenge. If you go to my fan page on Facebook or any comments from the last couple of videos I put up, I do the cinnamon challenge. And I usually don't give in to peer pressure because what's so challenging about cinnamon? Really? So
love
everybody's
that line.
getting on my nerves. I got some cinnamon. I don't even know what kind you're supposed to get. You know, because cinnamon is good for you. You put cinnamon on, like, you know.
She's a naturopath.
Yeah, and I don't know if she's
Different
trolling
race
or
and
she's
stuff.
being serious. So try to keep an eye out
I
for
don't
that. 'Cause
know.
she's
So,
very.
You take some cinnamon.
But the way she did it was what makes me feel like she didn't know what she was doing.
I mean, she's probably had cinnamon stuff, and she's thinking it's gonna be spicy. Like, oh, it's
Yeah.
it's a spicy.
What's so
thing.
challenging
like
about
ginger
cinnamon?
Is spicy, or like
Indeed.
ketchup is spicy.
Right?
I guess.
Okay.
I don't. So I have a spoon, and I don't have a spoon bigger than this. So I had this, because I don't know how much you're
That's a
supposed to take.
ladle,
So
my lady.
you just take it, and I guess you count to 10, or you take it, and I don't know.
Oh God.
She's gonna die.
All right, so here's the cinnamon. All right? All right, here you go.
You hear that? She got the Brita. She got the Brita.
Brita.
No glass. No glass. She has the sink. She's got the sink, and she won't use the sink water. Where is she, in Flint, Michigan? Like, why won't she just? She
Yeah.
gotta.
The Brita. So important. I mean, that's mostly it, but I want to see her reaction at the end, just to see if she's being genuine about this whole thing. Oh, she comes back.
hope you. Over.
Glozell, what a great name.
Over and out. Over and out.
Could have been intentional. Could have. But that's a lot of ladle. Big ladle.
It's that
Could be for
that was a
content.
ladle full of cinnamon, if I've ever seen one. That sure was.
That didn't look comfortable.
Yeah.
Anyways, but we were talking about peer pressure and content and Mr. Beast. Sorry for that
Yes.
that rabbit hole.
Speaking of ladles full of cinnamon, we got Mr. Ralph Macchio, Macho
Welcome.
Man Randy Savage,
Wax on.
Welcome.
snapping into my brother Slim Matthew.
Hey
Slim
guys.
Matthew.
Hey guys.
What's up, man?
I'm
Welcome.
the Slim Matthew and I'm the
We're talking about cinnamon.
Whatever.
Pretty
You
good.
ever,
Was that guttural enough? Can I put on my? I gotta put on my fucking things.
Pants.
you got to shave?
The what you call them? Your hearing aids. Yeah. And I gotta plug my phone in because that motherfucker is gonna die. So it's like computers and shit. Everything's got a cord. You gotta plug it all in. And then you gotta download a fucking update and then an app. And then your app has to have an app.
You're banned.
You're banned.
You're
Sensitive
banned.
content.
You're banned.
All of your moms.
You banned. Banned forever. Lifetime ban.
Let me see if I can put it on over.
How do you use cinnamon, Matthew? How do you use cinnamon? If you can hear us, you're a
speaking
culinary enthusiast.
He's struggling.
Is that better?
Yes, we can hear you.
Beautiful.
We can
Okay.
hear you.
I like it. I'm sorry. I'm back.
How's your
What
Wednesday, brother?
was the question? How's
Oh,
my
we
Wednesday?
were talking about cinnamon. We were talking about cinnamon and how
Okay,
people use
cinnamon.
cinnamon. And yes, tell us
Yeah.
what you know about cinnamon and
Cinnamon.
how cinnamon should be used.
The one of the earliest mispronounced names by children. I was one of the ones that I think I pronounced it seminin. Right off the bat, seminin, and cinnamon. I think is
Cinnamon, yeah.
is like nutmeg. It's like anise, and it's like in that if you do not respect the power of that spice, both savory and sweet, you're in trouble. Okay, you can overdo
yes.
it real fucking easy.
What's overdoing it? Like a ladle? A ladle of cinnamon, maybe?
Okay, so whatever you think, like. Most people do the thing that they think it's a cocoa powder, right? They'll put that much in, and they'll think, "Oh yeah, cinnamon toast crunch, that's just loaded." No. What they're doing is they're contrasting the bitter with the sugar, and that's what it is. Same with cocoa. Like cocoa in itself, chocolate is fucking
Cacao.
bitter as hell. Cacao.
Oh yeah.
Cacao. And yeah. So
True.
sorry.
Very bitter.
The answer to is that I like cinnamon in savory dishes. I really do like it. In one of my favorite things to do is make rice pudding and put cinnamon in there. Cinnamon coffee is good.
Yeah, sure.
Cardamom is sometimes mixed in.
Cardamom,
Yeah.
that's the other one. Thank you. Anise, cardamom, those are the ones you gotta
Yep.
fucking be really careful, man. And that gets really confused. People put cardamom in and they think it's cinnamon. It's funny.
Yeah. Or
They
turmeric.
use a lot of turmeric.
Tumor.
They use
Like the yellow one, you mean?
Yeah, that's another
Yes.
one that can
They
get,
think
that can
it's
get
like
real
bouillon?
heavy.
Yeah. So is it talcum? What's the one that makes your tongue numb? It's
Uh,
yellow.
Novocaine.
talcum. What's talcum powder? No, you're funny. No, I put this in something on accident.
Cocaine? Lidocaine?
Lattercane, one of the canes.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta read your labels. I was a young cook, and I when I was little and I wanted to learn how, so I just started pulling shit out of the spice cabinet and just dumping
Oof.
it in, thinking it was one thing. But
Yeah.
Ah, you have to know the thing. You have to
Yeah.
know
Street
it
cooking is a
well.
lot like drunk cooking.
yeah,
You're like, what does this do? What does
Well,
this
Yeah.
spice do?
yeah.
It's a lot of fun, though, right?
I think
Sure.
the best practice is to take your pinky and dip it in there and just barely go like this. Make sure it's not poisonous because blah blah blah. But then do that.
You align.
Just wait for how long does this and how much did I use and how long did that take to go away out of my mouth? Imagine that in
Do
a
the
dip.
math. You do the
Yeah.
math, and you do the half-life. You figure out the half-life, and then you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ex-
Yeah.
Half- Half-life.
That's
I
good advice.
Yeah, I respect people who can just follow a recipe or
Yeah.
even use recipes because I can't.
Without
I don't have the
changing it.
patience. But
I'm one
if
of
you can
those.
follow, yeah,
I modify shit.
yeah.
Not always,
I'm
but-
like, tell me what's in it. Tell me what's in it. Give me the amount of like the bulk. So give me the amount of the starch or the amount of the meat or the amount of this, and then just tell me what seasoning you use, and I'll put my own amounts of those. You know what I mean?
Well, you've earned that. You've earned that right. Like as a
Experimenting.
culinary
Yeah.
enthusiast, as a cook, as a chef, like you've earned that. For me, it's just like I'm just fucking around.
Yeah, well, me too, dude. I'm still fucking around. Like I'll go in the the door of the fridge, and I'll just start pulling out all these different kinds of sauces, and I'll just start mixing them together, just because I want to know what does it taste like together, like the random
Yeah.
shit. I'll put ranch and fucking soy sauce together. I don't give a
Oh
fuck.
yeah, dude.
I give no
Heck
fucks.
yeah.
If the emulsion breaks, I don't care. I want to try new things. Yeah.
Novelty.
Guajamaya is my favorite store because I don't know what the fuck I'm buying. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, but I just buy it if it's like looks remotely interesting. And I found some amazing shit. There's this packet of seasoning. I don't know what it's called to this day, but I put it in udon noodles. It's amazing.
MSG.
Fucking yeah,
MSG.
exactly. That's what it is. It's
Monosodium glutamate.
your mother's sodium glutamate.
Whoa. Man,
See, this is why you guys
I
don't
feel
miss me
sick
because I
after
don't
that.
shut up. This is why you guys don't miss me. Like I give you like
We do
3
miss
weeks
you.
break,
We,
and then I
we
come back
welcome
and
the rants.
assault you.
Yes.
We'll
I
give you
miss,
space for the
listening.
rants.
Yeah, I've been on some wild
Goose
emotional
chasers?
rides, and
Oh.
Your hair, your new hair
Yeah.
gives you a Depp vibe, right?
Depp,
Depp.
Johnny
Or,
Depp.
You
Oh,
just,
yeah?
you just
could
need
be
the
Depp,
weird
for sure.
glasses, and the rings, and maybe the missing finger. I mean, they glued it back, but
Yeah,
looks good, man.
I did that so I could just wear my normal, wear this hat like in public, and for these like interfacing with people, and then so that like hanging out back, I didn't have to always worry about falling because they kept falling out. And then when you're cooking, if you have to wear a hairnet if you have a certain length, so it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I got out
Yeah,
of that
that's
because
a
I wasn't
bold
cooking for a while.
choice.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like Samson, right? At first, I thought it was took all my power away, took all my mojo, and then I realized, no, my split ends needed me. They needed my hair is way happier now. I feel lighter. I feel like a different person, and it's time for new beginnings. Spring.
More intuitive or less intuitive? Because I've heard that there's an association between intuition and hair. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know about that.
Natives speak about this, where
Yeah.
there was native tribes that were very keen on the length of their hair and never to cut their hair, and then
I will agree
that's
that
where the
memories
white
and
people-
energy are stored there. Yes, I will
That's why
agree that.
scalping was a thing,
Mhm.
because
Well,
the Indians were very, they cherished the hair and
Yeah.
the length of their hair, and the white people were like, we're gonna take all your hair and a big
I-
chunk of your scalp, and we're gonna dangle them on necklaces and shit.
Yeah, I will say I don't think it
Dark.
takes your intuition away. I think what it does is
It's like antennas.
it forces you to have a recapitulation instantly and reset certain parts of your I don't know,
Forces
your
you to have recapitulation.
yeah, you have to
elaborate?
reset, man. All the muscle memory that was in your that your hair contained. It was like the blueprint, right? The timeline. All that all that
You
is
think
disconnected
information
from
is
you.
stored? You think
And everything
information is
living.
stored
Yeah,
in the hair?
absolutely. Why not? Prove to me I'm wrong.
Well,
That-
the
that's why I'm-
recapitulation's interesting phrase because
Yeah.
that is kaput.
It's coming out of your
is
hair.
Is the head and
Yeah.
face. So
Well, when you pull your hair out, right? When you pull your hair out, you're stressed. Think about that.
yes.
You know the term. I'm pulling.
Yeah.
I'm fucking stressed out. I'm pulling my hair out. No, you don't want. You want to forget this. You want to forget
Yeah.
that. You want to. You want to get through this.
Trichotillomania.
Interesting. Okay, so hair. What
Hair
an
pulling disorder.
interesting topic that we haven't really dived into.
Well, cerebral
Okay.
spinal fluid. Let's say maybe
Yes.
maybe there's a
Let's-
link between the nerve
find the
the nerves
connection.
on the scalp and I mean I'm not saying the fucking follicles go down in between your cranium bone. No, I'm not saying that. But I think like maybe as a nerve center. Okay, think about cats. Cats' whiskers. Okay, let's think
Yes.
about that. Cats
And
can
fur.
their equilibrium. Everything's fucking off. You cut off one side of their whiskers, they're fucked. You know they can't.
Are they?
Well, they're not fucked as in they can't
Have we
walk,
tried
but
this?
they take no. They'll if you cut the left, they'll just keep turning left because they have no.
They're not ambi-turners.
Yes,
Sensory. So it's a sensory kind of.
it's like an antenna. So
Yeah.
by that
Well,
rationale, the
whiskers
Native
are, right?
Americans are considering it to be a sacred sort of antenna, sacred sort of
Yeah. Intuition based.
containment for your senses.
And it's not just the natives. I mean, if
Yeah.
if we did like a study or just a brief overlook of how many cultures value hair, I'd
Yeah.
say maybe a fifth, 1/5 of them
Yeah.
are probably gonna hold
Let's-
hair.
Let's get
sacred.
into
Let's
to
take
the
a
other
look.
part of it.
Yes,
Chinese,
conformity.
like,
Go ahead.
having length
Conformity.
of hair was. It's also about your nobility.
Right,
So the
exactly.
longer hair you have,
The
more
ability.
It was a shame to cut
Yes.
your hair.
Right,
When
yes.
You were captured.
And
You
it
were
was-
shaved.
And then they
Yes.
changed it. They changed it and said you need to be clean cut. You need to be this.
Well-
the military, you need to
well, that's
shave
the
your
army.
head.
Well, that's
And it's
for
also-
lice.
Well, not just for lice. Think about it. When somebody becomes a monk, they renounce themselves.
Yeah, no, they
do that too.
separate themselves from the trappings
Right.
of visual assimilation.
And identity. It's like if your hair is an aspect of your
Yes.
identity and you're
Yes.
choosing to remove that ability to express oneself, then it's just like my identity is being molded into whatever amorphous thing
Right.
organization I'm becoming a
Let's
part
use
of.
this as an example. You both answer this question for me. Let's just say right now you pull out the fucking razor. You go in the bathroom. You go one line down the middle. Both of you. You go okay. Let's say
Totally
okay. You
chat.
look at me and you
Totally
say I don't
chatable.
care. I don't fucking care. I'm fine. I can get up tomorrow and just be the same person. No, you're gonna get up tomorrow and you're gonna have a fucking internal struggle about trying to figure out how to navigate this change.
Well, maybe not you, but your ego will. Your ego's
Well,
like,
okay, yes,
"Oh,
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's what I
screwed
mean
it up. Like this
Not-
is
not
my
like
only
you.
way.
as a person, but like
The
I gotta
social
walk
cloak.
around in this face and head.
Yeah.
Can't believe
And even
you
if
did
you
this to
aren't
us.
self-conscious, yeah, exactly. blame it. See, you
Now
blame
I
it
will
on me.
stand out.
You would push it on me. Yeah, but
Now I will stand out. Is the fear?
yes.
Or
So,
Oh,
so the
totally.
idea isn't the hair, and it isn't you as a person being like insecure. What it is just quote unquote the ego. You've set yourself up for a certain bar, even if expectations are one of those things you avoid. You've done that, right? You've
Well, predictability is one of those things that,
yeah,
you know,
patterns.
why ego exists. Like I have a sense of who you are and you have a sense of who I am, and if that's predictable, then it makes our interaction safe and like
Yes, yes,
familiar and dependable. There's like this reciprocity happening where it's a
yeah.
feedback system. Did you
I like
respond
to
to
test
Eugene?
people based on that.
Yeah.
Based on
Cool.
if I change something drastically, how
Yeah.
quickly are they to bail on me? Like if I got a face tattoo that said "fuck Alex," "fuck Nikolai,"
Yeah. Or
what
Eugene's mom.
would you guys still be my friends? I'm like, no, I'm not
I,
talking about you guys. I'm talking about somebody else.
Yeah, no,
it'd say
yeah, I
more
think
about you than
it'd be
us.
funny. Yeah, I'd be
You
like,
know?
wow, man. Let's take
He's
let's take a
dedicated. He's a
collection to get that shit removed. How
yeah.
drunk were you? Is everything okay? Like, did you fall off the wagon? What happened? These
Nothing's
past
ever
couple of
okay,
weeks?
bro. Yeah, nothing's
Yeah,
ever okay.
Could we do a social media campaign before
yeah.
before we get it removed? We can make a
Yeah.
Like who did
That
this
was
to
my
you?
point, though. That was my
Right.
point. It's like there's a fine line between, okay, quote unquote, we're woke, right? Like I'm really really malleable, mutable. Like
Awake.
I love
Yeah.
you guys just the way you are. Like truly, you could change something unless it was harming you and you were harming yourself. I wouldn't jump in and be like, don't do that. I would be like, cool, man, let's do this. You know, that makes you happy. I'm with you, right? But until there's some sort of like, you know, so
yes.
what the line is like, okay, I'm going to shave my head down the middle. I don't really like that. You don't like that. I don't really like that. But nobody's going to say anything because Alex says he likes it, right? And that's like,
Right. Okay. So this gets
and
into
for,
what we were just talking about earlier, which is like hormone therapy and very young children being able to alter their gender through hormone therapy. What are your thoughts on that? Because one
I've been having some mixed. Okay, so I avoid every time I try to avoid the reels, but something popped up like on a talk show, right? Where that pops up and someone says they're against it because, okay, well, if I can identify as anything, then I want to be
lamp.
a African American woman, and it's like Pierce something or
Piers
another.
Morgan. Yeah.
Yeah,
Morgan.
Yeah.
Piers Morgan said that, and it was like, there's limitations, and it's like, oh, okay, so there's limitations. So it's like, come on, man, you know what I mean? Come on.
Yes.
Well,
Some
that's
would
the
say
whole
those
game of
limitations
boundaries.
are reached at sex, and some people say like, well, sex is different from gender, right? And then
Whoa.
they say, well, because sex is separate
Is sex different from gender,
from gender,
Lori?
and like because gender applies to language, it applies to nouns, not humans. Humans have
Well,
sex.
Nick brought up a good point about that's the debate about if you identify as something, where's the defining line? Is it sex or gender?
Or age, you know, because that's another thing.
I mean,
Sex
she wants to jump
sex
on.
or gender is a spectrum. It's not a bin. Well, yes, we do see that in nature. How about seahorses? Let's talk about seahorses for a second.
Sure.
Aren't
Seahorses
they
are
asexual?
adorable.
Okay, so
Are
certain
they? Do they
certain
lay eggs?
animals
Lay
are
eggs?
They're not even
asexual, aren't they?
horses. They're like
Some animals
aren't they
can
a
change their
mollusk?
gender. That's the point. So why can't we?
Why can't
we're
we?
mammals. There are no mammals that change their gender or
Um,
change their sex to to be that.
Let's talk about platypuses then.
Yes.
What
what
about
about
the
them?
platypi?
So
They-
what if the platypus wants to identify as a reptile, but then he wants to identify as a mammal?
Then he doesn't.
Okay,
He just
let me
lays
make a
eggs when he
semantic
wants to be a
argument.
reptile.
You can identify as whatever you want,
Mhm.
but you could
You have
you
the
will also
hardware.
have to be incorrect if you're
You're ba-
incorrect.
Oh, okay, so you are bound by the scientific.
No, you can
stru-
you can say you're a sheep, like,
No,
and that's
it's not
fine,
saying, but
and you'd be wrong.
when
But
you
if
said
s-
incorrect, you have to be bound by it. Yeah,
No, it doesn't matter what's correct or incorrect. People are wrong all the time. There's no
Right.
like law of physics that says that you can't be mistaken. right? Or you can't lie. And
Right.
these things are all possible.
Yes. But you know how we were talking about the hair thing, and like, you know, you getting a haircut doesn't really impact me, or but it impacts you, and
We're all
whether
right in the
you
middle.
like it or not is what's important about that whole situation. I'm trying to
Okay.
overlay that
Yeah.
on kind of this whole debate that's happening in the culture right now regarding
Hmm.
gender and one's ability to, especially at a very young age, you know, very young age, like sub 18,
Yeah. It scares
choose
me.
your one's identity,
It
especially
scares
for somebody
me
who's
how
not
many
fully formed.
young people have made up their minds completely so early.
Yeah,
And I
like
don't,
think
and
about
I,
tattoos.
not that that's bad in like the big picture, because I was a very out of the side of the box person. But my point is this: I'm out there selling plant-based nuggets and I'm sometimes doing retail demos, and I see a 4-year-old come up that's already decided he's vegan, he or she or they or
Right.
him,
Or Muslim or
and
something else,
which is
you
fine,
know?
totally fine. But
Is it
the paradigm
Did
has
they
shifted.
decide?
4-year-old?
No,
Did they
right.
decide?
The paradigm has
Four?
shifted so much. No, like barely talking between 5 and 9, like young kids. And I'm like,
So
oh,
their
that's great.
concept of what they signed up
Hmm.
for isn't apparent to them. So
They
in
don't know
some
what a
So
ways,
concept is.
yeah,
right.
They don't know the
So
word
it's
concept.
distilled
so
into something that they can probably react to,
yeah,
They can't
potentially.
yeah.
possibly consent to anything.
So if let's okay, so there's so much of a sponge still, so that if they hear that Tommy wants to be Tabitha, and he wants to be a she and identifies as she, and he's sitting next to in class, that frees up the mind, which is great. I want the minds to be free, but there I think for some reason too much a choice, overstimulus choice. Not let's not talk about gender or that, but too much
Sure.
choice too early. I don't think is healthy. I think limitations teaches you what to go dig for. Because if
Well,
you don't have anything to dig
yeah,
for, then
it's the
Hmm.
you're just
boundaries.
yeah.
That's
Think about it.
essentially what we were talking about, the
Yeah,
boundaries of reality and, you know, whether reality corresponds to the language that's being used or, you know, like the way that we interact with reality and whether it's compatible with
yeah. You
it's
came to
got to be
America
compatible.
and
It's
you
got to be
realized
compatible
the
for it to make
difference,
sense.
right? You realized the
Realize
difference.
what difference between
The
what?
difference between cultures, the difference between like the way that things were. Like it's like here
Oh yeah,
we're kind of like off the
I made
fucking
mistakes.
rails, right? Anything goes, whatever. Um,
Well,
and
that's not
so the
how it.
structure,
Olden
I
days,
don't
a
know.
glimpse of stocking was
Don't you
I feel
think?
looking
like
for
there was more
something
structure.
shocking. The more structure,
Well,
you said?
because you stayed in the church, and that became
No, no,
way more
no.
protective.
I mean in a public school setting. Probably because I didn't attend school
Whose
in
schools?
Ukraine.
Our schools, I believe,
So
is how the chant
I was
goes.
just thrown into first grade. So I didn't go through like the preschool or kindergarten, right? But
Oh,
sure,
okay.
I noticed the difference between the two, but I also had to go through a transformational process where I had to learn
Right.
the language to
You were
understand
still too
what
young
I was
to.
doing.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
was still grappling with the linguistic aspect of it too. I
Right.
mean, sure, there was obviously a cultural change, obviously a social dynamic change, but I was still just grappling with being able to understand what somebody next to me was telling me or how to say I
Right.
need to go to the bathroom or how to find the bathroom.
Right.
I got lost in a hallway once, one of those maze hallways, and yeah, it took me a while,
Man,
man.
I feel
But
for you. I got lost in hallways, and I've spoken English all my life. I grew up here. I would just wander around school too, man. It's a very
it just
disorienting place, and it's like this
very
imposition of
clinical.
stuff from above. Yes, the lights, the fluorescent lights. It's very
The
unnatural.
corporate kind of layout. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a mini office building.
Yes, and not a
Oh,
good one.
ooh, Tell us about this,
Nice.
Matt.
Look at
Beautiful.
that resonator.
All right,
Look
so
at
here's the
that.
deal.
He's been working on it.
I'm selling gear.
Okay.
So
Uh-huh. What do you got?
this
got?
is a Dobro electric. Okay, so
That's a beauty.
335. It's not. I would say semi hollow, but not technically. So you see these two right here?
Yeah.
They're supposed to be like their little screen, but
Yeah.
they're fake. So if you took this off, like you see, it's just a hole.
Probably just
It doesn't
for
go-
access, right?
It doesn't go
Access
down
to
into
pickups.
the main empty chasm like it should. Like I want to drill a hole in there and make it a true blah 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 blah. Anyways,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
but
you could
what's
put
cool about
a
this?
speaker
Yeah,
in there.
yeah. No,
That's
what's
great.
cool about this is underneath
Two actions.
underneath this bridge, just like on an acoustic, there is a bone. There's a bone nut.
Mhm.
There's a bone bridge saddle. Underneath the bridge saddle is a piezo that's wired to one of these
Piezo.
pots. Piezo pickup, and then up here is a regular pickup. So you have two pickups. One is acoustic
Humbucker.
sounding, and one is electric sounding. And I would say that this sounds to me like a single coil meets a mini humbucker. The blend is what's cool. Really cool. I got this, and it was defective when I bought it. So there's some rattling going on in here. I need to figure out either how to cut the new. I've taken the whole plate off, and it's basically like a metal rattle. The tension also isn't strong enough to keep the strings from sliding off this. It's like flat. They didn't cut any notches, which you normally don't. And there's also no way to intonate because the bridge saddles don't go forward or backwards. So where it's at is where it's intonated. Okay. So I thought I'd get rid of this tailpiece. I would get something to lower it down inside the cavity where the strings come in. And that would create more break angle because you see how flat that is. It's barely enough to make break angle.
Right.
But
But what's it buzzing
Kind of
on?
a
so
hassle.
Alex, I was wondering if you wanted to borrow it and check it out and see if you liked it.
I've never played one. I don't know what it sounds like.
What does it sound like? It sounds like a dobro, but it also sounds like a 335 semi-hollow
Like a-
guitar with
Like
just a neck
Blue-
pickup.
BB King bluegrass.
Yeah, here.
Like a banjo.
Like
King.
a rock.
Does it identify as a mandolin?
Lori said this is one of her favorite sounding guitars. I was telling you
Wow. Oh, yeah.
the other day.
You mentioned that. Okay, so it's one that you've been working on to perfect.
Yeah, but so Aaron and me just went halvesies on a mixer, and
Okay.
now I have to sell some stuff to pay my half. We'll be able to record all of the drums and both of my amps simultaneously, so we can actually record demos.
16 tracks, or we're talking about 16?
Yes, it's a 12-track Tascam with a built-in DAW, but you can also run it into the computer and get 32. So right now our setup, we don't have any way to record but the phone. So
This is
I'm looking to sell
Nick's
some
hemisphere. Nick, talk about this
Yes.
Tascam.
Yes. Tascam. What?
We got to know the model.
Yes.
stuff. It's a Tascam 12.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Model 12.
Model 12.
Nice.
Thank you.
Is it digital? I'm sure it is, right?
Yes.
Yes, but it has a very
Yes.
retro look to it. It's got the faux wood around the outside.
Right. It's the old style. Yes. Very nice.
Yeah.
And it's
Cool.
and it's USB-C.
You guys
Right,
are
so
planning
have
to
you-
record stuff live. Nice.
So, yeah, we're getting back into. I'm getting back into trying to go play a show, and we have all of our instrumental tracks. So I basically have a full set already. Just want to record it so that we can. I've got an opening for a gig down at Tim's Tavern too, the place we last played before the
Heck yeah.
pandemic.
Right on, dude.
Very nice.
So you see,
Let
it's
us
got
know
a
when.
very
We'll come out.
vintagey
Wait, Tim's Tavern.
sound.
That's on 125th.
It used to be on 99 in Aurora, down
Yeah.
by your place. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember when I met you at your rapist van? And you were like, I was like, who's this dude in the overalls? The first time I ever met Nick. I was like, this motherfucker's some creepy motherfucker coming up on my truck. It's like he's looking at me. I'm like,
and
is
I was
that,
like,
is
look
that
at this
Tim?
creepy motherfucker in that pickup truck. Is he peeping me? What is this guy doing parked over here? And he was like, two creepy motherfuckers found each other in a parking lot.
And then we just like we circled and then finally hugged. But yeah,
Bear maced each other.
Yeah.
So
Dude, it could have gone the opposite direction.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I don't know if you.
Like a couple of cats.
My headphones are the only way for you to hear my mic, but I don't know if this.
Sounds good, man.
So that is the
It's not
that's the
guitar,
regular
though, it's the
pickup.
plant.
That's the
Yeah.
pickup. So the regular pickup's nice and warm.
You can get some weird sounds out of the piezo.
Okay, now here's the piezo. Very
Especially
bright.
distorted.
They'd
So
be good for like Italian folk music, I think.
Oh yeah, piezo pickups are often used
It's
in
vibration.
acoustic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I have one in an acoustic. It's taped, not taped, but it's super glued to like the inside. So
Yeah.
it is vibration based. So it's
Exactly.
transferring the frequencies, I guess, differently
Yeah.
than the other one, right?
Yeah,
So you get
and
this,
you'll
this spectrum mix.
and you hear it how when they're blended together, it's so vintage and
Very cool sound, man.
oh, you hear that rattle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only way to fix
Sort of.
that is I tuned up a full step, and I've also bent the saddle down so there's more brake angle. The action is right where it needs to be, so it's like going up or down on the bridge saddle just won't work. So I have to like make this go down more,
You
and then
can't,
shim the neck
file
or
off
something.
Some of that resonator.
Yeah, you
Oh, you mean the?
Yeah,
should be able to
well,
remove it.
what the
you
strings
mean,
pass through, right? Is that what's rattling?
Yeah.
Or is it rattling the resonator against the body?
It's against the body. I've tightened all the screws down. It's just the way the I don't know why it's doing it, but it's again I've never worked on a dobro. I've got it to where like it'll stay in tune. The action's great, and basically if I play soft, if I don't use a pick and I use finger picking, it plays great. Nothing wrong with it. But as soon as you start, strumming really hard, or you bend a note more than a full step, that slides
yeah.
out. Watch. You hear that? Cut.
Hey, I hear it.
It goes cut because it's like sliding up and
Yeah.
down that. So I don't know. The guy.
Well, maybe just
I
play like nice. Maybe just don't play so much.
well, that's what it's teaching me. This guitar is making me just play mellow. You know what I
And
mean?
then
Yeah.
you're gonna have a guitar without an E string, and you're gonna be like, screw it, 5 is enough.
It's
needs
making
the
me do
E-string?
the finger picking stuff. Maybe I'll.
Well, beautiful.
You know what I mean? Anyways,
Well,
They wanted
Nick,
to show you
as
that.
a bass guitarist, there are
do.
most bass guitars are 4-string,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
In what scenario would you need a 5 or a 6 string bass?
The five.
It's a
prefer-
B, right? The low
Yeah, the
5.
low B. If you're playing anything that was done on a concert bass viol, a double bass, because that the down to C is sometimes the extension that they have. So the B would be there for that. Uh,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like that low C
It
just is so nice, or even a D. You know,
Yep.
Yes.
you can't
Yep.
even get
The
a
bass
D,
player we
and so many
had
things are
a
in D.
5-string, and the lower notes that he could play that go lower than the E, they sounded
Yeah.
fucking way great. Plus a
Solid.
power chord, a third and a fifth on that thing, or
Yeah.
you down tune to a D, which would be what, B down to F? No, B.
A.
G.
If you're
A.
detuning a whole
Yeah.
step, it would be a low
Yeah,
A.
so-
but it's
Wow.
there's a lot of wobble on it when it's
Yeah.
detuned down to A. But yeah, a C sharp sounds nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, Matt, do you remember seeing Victor Wooten?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
my-
was just him and another bassist, and the other bassist had a fretless bass, and it was just them two and a drummer. Maybe there might have been a keyboard player, but just the three of them mostly, and they played an
Yeah.
entire show.
It was awesome. It was really awesome.
So many bases.
No,
So,
it
you know,
didn't
there's
sound
this
like
joke-
that
there's
because
this joke. Sorry, this Russian-Ukrainian joke where it's like there's a band where there's two drummers and a violin, and the drummers are talking to each other, and they're like, "Fuck it, let's fire the violinist."
Yes, yes. No, it's so
we don't
true,
need
though.
any high strings.
No, like because a violinist can really be annoying. You know.
Oh, in any case, yeah.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Does it?
I grew up with a sister who attempted to learn to play the violin, and it didn't go well. It didn't go well, but I did hear the screeching. I still hear it. The horsehair.
I still hear it. Yeah, sometimes I wake up screaming, and I think, no, it was just the violin. Yeah, that's which one is
Quite the
worse?
sound.
A
Which one is
violinist
okay?
who doesn't know how to play the violin, or a violinist
Speaking of
who
which-
knows how to play the violin and tells
This-
everyone about it.
This Sunday, my daughter's coming over this weekend. She's bringing her violin over,
Very nice. Very
and
nice.
she's
my
she
friend
does play
from
violin.
work. My friend from work is an amazing violinist. She plays in a 4-piece quartet that plays Django Reinhardt covers and old French covers, and
Oh,
she's a really
wow.
good pianist,
Incredible.
violist, whatever the word is. And
Nice.
so I got my old violin that I have, and
The
I
old
put some.
player.
She put some new strings on it, and I got a bow, but I can't figure out the rosin thing. Like seriously, like
Oh,
the only
okay.
string instrument
One
that's conquered me
Direction.
so far.
you're talking
Right.
to the right guy. You're
Back
talking
to
to the right guy,
Okay,
Not
well,
me.
so
Nick.
what do you mean
I
One
have
Direction?
rosin. Do you need rosin?
No, I don't.
what's
I
the
have
issue?
rosin.
What's
Of
the
everything,
issue, man?
Horsehair and all of the
Well,
barbs. on
let me
the
go grab it
horsehair
then. Maybe you can help me.
Yes,
Go
we
one
can do it
direction. Yes.
live.
For
We can do
sure.
this live. We're gonna apply rosin to Matt's bowstring. That sounds like a weird
Yes.
metaphor.
Classic horsehair bow. Very nice.
Well, everyone will learn something today. Something new.
Yep, almost done. All right, so
Okay, here we are.
I found this on the side of the road. It doesn't have a, it doesn't have a name yet.
It
Uh-huh.
doesn't have a name. Will it live?
It did. It did. Look at the case.
Okay. Did it
Sorry.
did it fall out of somebody's vehicle?
Yeah. Look,
Oh, it totally did.
it was on top of
Somebody-
somebody's car. That's what happened. It was like
Somebody
Yep.
forgot it on their roof.
okay.
Okay.
Violin. Yeah.
Any marking brands on it?
It's not a bad one. She said.
Where is it made? Anything on the
I don't
inside?
know right now.
Okay, no worries.
Quit asking me questions. I wasn't
This is
prepared for this.
No.
Does it say
Spanish
Stradivarius?
Inquisition.
It's a Franz Hoffman. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Hoffman. Sure. German guy. Good
Yes.
dude. You can
Good
rely on a German guy to make an instrument. If his name is Franz, you can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with that. Okay. Now the
And
rosin.
that's a student size, like a, what is that, like a 3/4?
Looks like.
Wow. Now it doesn't even want to stay at tension. What do they do now?
Well,
Probably the tuners.
yeah, the
Pegs.
pegs in the peg box, right? They stay by wax. Sometimes you need to wax them to get them to move, but generally the hole is bored exactly, and you push the peg in and to kind of stick it, and it should
Oh, okay, I
stay
see, I
by
see.
tension.
Got it.
But where you're putting your thumbs is where you put the bow, so don't touch it with your fingers there. It leaves the oil and it gets into the rosin. So only touch it at somewhere over the fretboard with your fingers, the strings.
Only touch it if it provides consent.
Yes. It's
It's very important.
Yeah, the oils of your fingers get on the horsehair, and it gets like
No.
weird and stiff.
Now, look,
Hey now.
Yeah,
it
so
moves.
push it
Oh,
towards the peg box, push it in as you turn it, and like
Okay. Okay.
yeah, and oppose it with your other hand
Okay.
if you need to on the other
Got
side.
it.
if
You're right.
anybody has a violin that needs to be tuned, quickly grab your violin and we will provide
Yes,
critique.
and smash it against the wall as soon as you get
Just
it.
real quick.
If it's
Real
out
quick.
of tune, just
Or if there's somebody nearby.
Want to just Alt F4 yourself out of that violin.
What if you're Ben Shapiro?
Well, carry on then. Carry on. Just adjust your little hat and get your friend Nat.
It doesn't surprise me that he's like a virtuoso violinist.
Yeah. I mean,
If it wasn't violin, it would have
practice.
been something else, like
Sure.
the cello or anything else.
Yes,
Any
it could
kind
have
of
been
discipline.
a cello, bass clarinet.
Sure.
He could have gotten
Could
into
have been.
penny whistle. I mean, if he was Irish.
Penny whistle.
I could see accordion for some reason.
Yeah,
being
yeah.
a thing he
Me
would
too.
do. I could see
Yeah.
it with accordion, or maybe sousaphone in a
okay.
marching band if
The-
he was
so-
born in the Midwest.
I can see it.
So, anyways,
Anyways,
I have this bow
Get
that
rosin.
is new that I ordered. Okay.
Oh my God,
Okay.
that is
So-
whoa! The first thing, that is a bass bow, or you have tightened it so hard that it is no longer a violin bow.
Look.
You never touch the horsehair
Yeah, I know.
with your hands.
Look.
Uh,
Okay.
good.
So I'm not sure what's happening there, but I think
It's very tight. Looks
Dude.
like
yes.
a legit
Can I-
bow and
Let me
arrow.
get. This is rosin. I'm gonna
This is
show you
hilarious.
the tension. This is rosin.
Okay.
Look. How much tension should it be?
Should be-
Can I show you
Let's get-
something real quick because
He's gonna.
there's
He might.
a situation.
Yeah,
Alright.
there is definitely.
This
a
is
situation.
kind of impossible
See,
to
this-
do.
Okay, so
This
You
is
see
what you
this?
should be. This is what it should look like.
Whoa. Okay. Zoom in.
Okay,
Put it
back-
towards the camera.
You
See? Oh,
So untighten it.
oh yes. It
Okay.
is.
unless
Like-
you're planning to shoot things with it.
This is fully tightened, and it should always arch towards
Yeah.
the hair,
Okay. Here we go.
right?
We're getting close.
So that's loose.
I think what has happened to that bow is it
Oh, we're
might be
tightened.
that might need to be restrung.
Your mom needs to
or-
be restrung, Nick. That's not the news.
But like this is what we should be looking at, and that is not a baseball.
Let me
like,
see. Let me
that-
see your fibers. How far apart are they?
Look, they're my
Okay.
fibers is fucking.
Put your
legit,
put
son.
your rosin on it and see how loose it is. I want to see how loose
No.
that is.
We won't be able to see
Okay,
spacing.
okay.
But it's pretty
Alright.
You see
consistent.
them? Yes.
See nothing.
There's no. There's no.
Okay,
Okay,
That's,
so
I
that's
think
what
you're-
we should
rosin.
be looking at.
I think
now
you're
the
right.
rosin.
Now the rosin.
Yes, you start hold your hand like this. Well, for the violin hold
Yeah.
it like that, and then with your other hand you hold the rosin,
Okay.
and then you just like this, just like you're doing it down. No, you don't go both directions. You lift up, down bow, lift the bow off the rosin, down bow it again. From your hand to the tip, but not from the tip to your hand. Is the rosin very smooth? Like,
Is it
look, can you show me the surface?
is it old? It doesn't
Uh,
look like it's.
Brand new.
yes.
There's something on it.
What you would do with a brand new rosin is you work the edges. Some people like rough it a
Sandpaper,
little
maybe?
bit by like scratch it with, some people use the side of keys, but it's hardened resin. It's actual.
Yeah.
Okay. So it
It's
needs
actual,
to be.
like, tree sap.
It needs to be more porous. It's too
But the
smooth.
the barbs
grip.
that are on the hairs, they're like this. They're all going this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you go from the hand to the tip, because that lets the barbs scrape it at a microscopic level, and that's what it needs. Like, so when you rough them up a little bit, you just it's an act of patience. It's an act of repetition and roughing it up a little bit. Once you've done it enough, then the more rough it gets, the easier it is to pull the rosin off.
You just gotta
Okay.
manhandle a little bit.
Yeah, just
But as long as it has like the friction that it needs for the transfer to happen. I mean,
yes.
Nick, was there ever a process of heating it up? Is heat involved in any way, shape, or form, or is
So,
it just?
I think my
No.
problem's in the rosin. Do you see this one's a new one, and it's still like shiny.
Yes. Yeah, because it's very hard and they manufacture it like that.
So I need to scuff up
do you
the
have
edge,
little? Yeah, scuffing it would work.
like with my hat maybe, or
No.
No.
If you have
Something
like
hard.
a wire bristle brush, like that you would clean
Something
off
textured.
metal tools with,
yeah.
or 100
I
grit
do.
sandpaper, something like that, just to get a little bit of texture.
Texture.
on it. Just
Okay.
a little is enough.
Got it.
The unknown lives of violinists. I mean, same
Yeah.
thing with saxophone. Like, there's a whole process that I would do with the reed. I like sand it down. There's like various things that you could do to a reed to alter it for it to sound different. And
Mm-hmm.
it impacted the entire sound of the saxophone because I mean, the whole sound is just relying on this piece of plant.
How do you know when there's enough on there? Like,
Uh,
You got to do ASMR. You got to
if
do.
if it creates sound when you bow,
That's a good
that
indication.
no,
works.
I mean,
Yes.
before you fucking put it on the violin. Like, is there a
Well,
way?
that is the way.
Sarcasm. Okay,
Yeah.
you guys,
You
we
do
all
it
know
until
trial
now.
the
and error.
We
sound
all
is
know now
produced.
at the fairgrounds, you guys run the Sarcasmatron ride. We get that.
No, we're being completely literal. That is the
Yes.
indicator, man.
Yes. No, it's not
Oh,
Trial by
okay.
sarcasm.
fire.
I'm starting to feel a little bit of tension, like a
It's
little
the
Really?
tism.
resistance.
You
It's the
know what?
tism.
You
Yeah.
know what's
There you go.
tense?
That's what you want.
That bow was
No, it
tense.
starts to grip.
This is brand new, so it's just not even have any
Well, it's
resin
not
rosin
tense
on it.
anymore, but it was very
Okay,
tense.
and I think it's too loose, dude. I really do. I really think
Well,
this flopping around
it
is not
it
right.
might just
How
have
long
gotten.
was it tightened like that?
I mean, I thought
Oh,
that's more friction than I've had so far.
There you
that's
go.
what she said.
It's a process.
All right. So
Um,
I'll follow those steps and repeat, but I don't want to take up too much
yes.
time.
No, that's
And
good.
only one
You,
direction. That's the only way
One.
that's helping you. Going the other
oh,
way doesn't, and just long strokes. You don't
Okay.
need it so much right next to the, right next to where your hand is,
Well, she's
but
coming over. She
tip
actually
to.
gave me this. It's from France. So one of the places she told me to go was this
France.
place called. It's like in Paris. It's a
Jide.
whole street, like a couple streets of just um, luthiers that
Rosin.
make violins. So every
Mm,
shop is a violin shop, and it's an amazing area. So that's where I'm gonna go.
the
And
I'm shaking my
French.
head, but that's such a French thing, just to have a
yeah,
whole street filled with violin
because
makers. Well, that's
she
no
said when
different
she
than.
went there that she found a violin in the garbage, a perfectly fine violin, and I asked someone, "What's going on with this violin?" She said, and the person said, "Well, I think just didn't pass. It wasn't up to their specs. It was like perfectly good violin, like in the garbage."
Maybe
Or,
there's a reason.
I can
us,
imagine
or.
some like French guy being like, "This is bullshit. This is not like
Yes.
you know."
Yes, I can
Yeah.
see somewhere there's a gypsy who played a tune too much one way or the other. Right? And then got his violin thrown in the trash. I kind of like
They're
this
everywhere, man.
rendition.
Gypsies.
Mm.
I think I sold my Prius to a gypsy. Well, he wasn't a gypsy, but he was definitely an Afghani. He was an Afghani.
A gypsy no more. Now he has a Prius.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Worked
Well,
out.
that's good. I'm glad that you got it sold. That's nice. An Afghani man
Yes.
will
Dude, he came to
benefit.
test it out with his whole family. Like, there was 3 or 4 guys that came with him, and when he was test driving it, I was in the middle in the back. There's 2 guys on either side of me. There was one in the front, and there was one driving, and he was sitting right beside me in the back, and his uncle was driving. None of them had seatbelts on. This guy was going like 55 and a 35, and I was like, guys need to like cool it, like you're gonna get pulled over. You guys don't have seatbelts on, and like nothing, no reaction, no response. At no point did I think I was gonna get kidnapped, but I, I was like that'd be an interesting scenario.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you didn't.
Yes, man.
No, everything
That
went smoothly. I've never doubted people's normalcy. Well, I mean,
I
but
finally figured out this
I'm
tremolo too.
I'm also living in Washington, so who knows? Maybe in the Congo, I would living in the Congo for a bit might change my mind. The same way that my sister being a a nurse for however long she's been a nurse really changed the way that she sees people, because she sees the worst aspects of society in the sense that people who, yeah, who just show up injured or drug seeking behavior, or all sorts of traumatic incidents
It's
she has
called
to deal with.
it's called the great humbling
For who? For who? For the nurse?
for everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
To perspective. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yes, but there's people who would definitely abuse the system. She says there's people that like they know by name because they're in the ER so often, and they just know the
Yeah.
system and how to manipulate the system, but they still have to process them as actual patients. So it's like,
Process them. Like, are they ground meat or something like that?
just
Yeah.
get them through triage, get through all the
Right,
questionnaires
right.
regarding their situation, put them in a room, prepare them for whoever is supposed to see them next, put them in a psych
Somebody
room.
to
I don't
ask
know,
them a
something like that.
question, somebody to pay attention to them.
Another
Somebody
thing.
love me.
Another thing, apparently, if somebody shows up to the ER and they are suicidal, they have to like put them into a room, because then they'd be liable if they let them go and they did commit suicide and they didn't provide any sort of like solace or intervention or something like that. So like if somebody shows up and they are exhibiting suicidal tendencies or verbally doing it, they literally have to like put them into a psych ward for a little while and watch them. Just things you learn. I've never been to a couple times maybe to an ER, but not the environment I'd want to spend a lot of time in. I'm kind of glad I don't work in a hospital. I did a whole bunch of prereqs for radiologic technology, just the X-ray scanning stuff, and I never ended up doing it. Thank
Yes.
God.
X-ray
Imagine
scanning.
just
Yes,
like
I did thermography. For a while.
thermography. Who tell me
Yes.
about that?
I
Tell me.
got some certification
Oh,
in clinical thermography. It's like
clinical
you use,
thermography. Of course you did.
right. It's something like your radiology. Like of course.
It's kind of like photography, but just with an X-ray thing. And I was like, why don't I just do photography?
This
Screw
is a
this whole
picture.
hospital.
Yeah, it's like I like taking this. I like this part. The camera's really great, man. I love that. I like taking pictures and looking at the pictures.
I
Why
don't
am I
like all the
doing
sick
this
people
here?
with broken bones.
This
Why
is
all
not
the sick
cool.
people with broken bones?
Yes.
They all have broken bones.
Everyone's
No, it's
in
not
pain.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the whole issue about that job. Well, and the fact that so many more people. How do I put this? For every job that was available, there was like a 40-person wait list, because they were putting out way more students than there were positions. So the
Ah,
college was just this big racket.
right.
So they were just putting people out and putting out students, and then there was like this huge competition for even for like part-time positions. So I'm glad that didn't I didn't do any long-term education for that. I'm glad I did
Yeah.
massage therapy. By the way, massage therapy, anytime, man. Let me know. I can do it at your
Yes.
place. You can do it here. Any place.
Man, it's been
Want to
forever.
work out
I
those
could.
knots. You too, Matthew. Let me
Yes.
know when you want to
Yes, sir.
schedule a massage, bro. I know you got tension from being a salesman of the year. How's that
Yes.
going, by the way? Tell us how the sales position is.
I'm not technically a salesman. Well, I guess
Cool.
that's me being modest.
Assistant to the manager.
I don't acquire new accounts. I acquire people's awareness and
Emails.
their no. I don't get
Your
anything
marketing.
like that. I just go.
No?
I say, hey, how are you? Would you like to try
Treat,
a plant?
treat us like
nugget?
like somebody who's interested in purchasing what you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so
You do
Nick and I
demos.
How are
show
you
up
doing today?
we show up and we're really interested in, in non-meat
No, you're
kind of
interested.
alternative.
I'm not interested.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We'll,
Okay,
we'll,
there you
we'll
go.
do the.
Hi,
I'll do both. Good
would you like to try a
comprehension.
plant-based
Yes,
nugget?
I
Would you like
definitely
to try?
would.
Yeah,
I
A plant-based
we're a local
nugget.
Seattle company.
wait. The, sorry, excuse me,
No,
Nick. What
no, go
position?
ahead. Go
Which
ahead.
one am I supposed to be? Pro or against?
You're a good cop. You're
Okay.
pro. Yeah.
Hi, Matthew. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
What is
you.
the name of your company?
Rebellious Foods. We're based out of West Seattle, local company.
What's so rebellious about your foods?
What's so
You gotta be
rebellious?
prepared. You gotta prepare it, yeah.
We're trying to make plant-based meats affordable and at price parity to regular meat to end the animal slaughter. No, I
What
wouldn't
animal
say end
slaughter?
the animal slaughter.
That's good though. Dude,
I don't even have to get that far. I've never had anyone be that. What are you
you
talking
gotta be
about?
prepared. You gotta be prepared.
No,
There will be naysayers.
if
We
some
will
I'll be like,
simulate them.
well, thanks for sharing your opinion. Yeah, we're just trying to make something for everybody to enjoy. If someone wants to go that route, they have options.
Now is this bugs? You trying to feed me a bug burger?
What's in
Nope,
there?
just soy and
Oh
wheat,
God,
isolated
that's worse.
soy and wheat
I
protein.
see. I see.
Is that worse?
Does it
Turn
raise
me
your
into
estrogen
salt.
levels?
I'm sorry to hear that. I haven't heard that.
I bet it's tasty though, ain't it?
I don't know. Why don't you try and let me know how you think?
How do you best prepare the meat?
I personally prefer the air fryer, but you can do it in an oven.
Could
You
I
could
grill
even deep
it?
fry it. I would thaw it out first and use a little bit of oil or some sort of, you know.
Are there any genetically modified elements to what you're selling? The soy.
These are
Is it?
non-GMO, sir.
Non-GMO.
How do you know? How do you know they're not genetically modified soy plants?
Because I have the spec sheets from the manufacturers that are testing.
Spec sheets. What are they
Would you
testing?
like to see?
I would like to see the spec sheets with
Yes,
with
I'm
the
taking
manufacturer.
notes.
Yes. What is the SKU number?
What is this SKU number?
Yes, the barcode. Is it? It's like this, right? It's this thing. Is it like this?
Yeah, that's the one.
Is it close?
I
Okay.
All right,
can't
all right.
see.
Let's be more
better
useful
that
to
way.
Matthew.
Okay.
All right. So why?
No, not. I've never.
What?
So the only negative anything I've received so far, and believe me, I asked about these. I said, what do you do? I said, avoid
You're winging
debate,
it.
avoid
Yes.
confrontation,
Avoid
because what that
insulting the
does is
person.
just distracts and creates an experience for other people to not approach the table, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course, you're
So
pushing
what
somebody
you
away
say
by.
is you say things that are deflecting, like, "Oh, thanks for sharing," and, "Oh, I'm sorry, soy doesn't work for you."
Yeah.
You know,
You
like
gotta
things
couch things.
like
You gotta
No.
treat them like a child.
if someone picks up a bag and they say, "Oh, that's too much sodium," I go, "Well, it's actually on par. We're a little less sodium than normal chicken nuggets, actually, you know." Or,
And
"Sorry
did they
about
give
your
you a
sodium."
script? How do you know all these things
No,
to say?
I don't
How
have a
did,
script.
Was it
No.
word of mouth kind of mentorship?
I don't need a script. I just
You
need to
ad-lib
know
it.
what.
You know the material. You know
Yeah,
the product
it's
well
three
enough.
things. It's nuggets, tenders, and patties. That's all I gotta move.
Nuggets, tenders, and patties. That's a pretty good band name.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Like
Okay, all right,
Crosby,
let's continue.
Stills, Nash, Nuggets, and Young patties.
Yeah, they're seasoned really well, and I've got nothing but positive feedback. In fact, probably a good 85% to 100% positive experiences, and the negative ones were just people saying like, "Oh, there's too much sodium," or "Oh, I am allergic to gluten." I can't try that.
Oh,
Or,
wouldn't.
um, or someone who is just basically closed-minded to the fact that like, ooh, plant, like no, it's not real meat, ooh, and then they'll walk off, and that just rolls right off me.
Hmm.
I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. To each their
No,
own.
Yeah.
that's
I have no aggression
for sure.
towards anyone. I'm not. It's not a competition with me and them. It's
It's
basically
not like you're
like
trying to convert somebody.
find
It's
people
just
who
like
are willing.
I have a
And
product.
if you have
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
you find a kernel of any sort of intrigue in somebody, you foster that. You let that grow. You
It's
invite
like an
that
ember.
in. Yeah. So people remember how you made them feel.
That's right.
And if you make them feel good and associate that with a good flavor, you've done your job.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well done. Well, you're well
Like, I
prepared.
really like
Well
that guy's
prepared.
smile.
But
He was very nice. Oh, what was that? Oh, yeah, that was that rebellious food. Oh, okay, I'm gonna remember that. Oh, here, have a coupon. Have a great day. Thanks for trying. Even if they say they don't like it, I'm like, oh, thanks for trying. Always
of
say thank
course.
you.
Yeah,
Always say
yeah, yeah.
hello.
Yeah.
Common
You
sense.
can't give them a reason to be pissed off at you, or you got to be courteous. Absolutely. And
Yeah,
just to
no,
build rapport, like to have a deeper connection with somebody, you got to build rapport through trust, and that happens through communication, and that happens through body language,
yeah.
all these
All the
all these
skills
factors.
I already have are working well for this, like the catering things and being able to serve people food that I'm making right in front of them. That did
That's
that for so
cool.
many years that it's like
Yeah,
I feel very like in my own element, completely.
I see it.
And
I
my
totally
you
see it,
don't know
man.
my
Great
little
job.
tricks are. My little tricks are I put five nuggets in the air fryer and I keep them cooking the whole time. So if I'm there for 4 hours, and the smell brings people
Ah,
in.
very
Yeah.
smart.
And then the more you do it, the air fryer also permeates with smell, so the flavor intensifies, which is another good thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you
You should
just
make a
wait
cologne
until it's But
No,
yeah, like
that's a good idea, man.
yeah,
fragrance
stuff
line.
like
It
that,
is a good
little
idea.
things.
That's
Finding a
subconscious.
location that works
That's
is
really
very,
smart.
very important because
What
you
is
do
it
not want to
generally
be
like?
disruptive. There's it's basically you have to find the one of very, very little places with power because I have an air fryer. I have to figure out the logistics of running the power without creating something for people to trip on. So
Hmm.
um,
A
it's
health
usually at an
hazard,
end cap
safety.
of a store, or uh, they basically depending on the restaurant or no, sorry, restaurant, depending on the store, they'll have different protocol, and they'll send you this big long thing. Well, you ignore about 70% of it, and you just do the things that you're supposed to do. Like they
Yeah,
want you to use their table, they want you to use their shit, but
of
like I have a
course.
whole setup, right? I bring my own table, bring everything. So
Right,
basically,
right.
I find the floor manager. I find the person who's in charge. I don't deal with the people that are lower down, and
Stalker, they don't know anything.
I find that person. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And I say, oh, I got everything. All I need is power. You don't worry about a thing. I can even stock the product for you if you want to bring it out. And then I'll be like, okay. And then I set up my thing. I say, how about this? I know you guys have a thing where I need to use your little rolling cart, but how about this? I set up everything, and if you don't like it, I'll break it down, and we'll use that. Whenever I get the display up, our advertising's so good that it's just great. It works perfect. They're all, oh, that looks awesome. And so the other part of it is that if you're there and you're doing a good job,
Hmm.
they sell. I've sold out at all my demos so far.
Well
Everything on the
done.
shelves.
Bravo. Look at that.
Just by not
Nice.
You did
arguing
it.
with people. Just by not arguing and
Nice.
actually having faith in, like you're a vegetarian, Nick, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Having faith.
It's a good world out there. If
Yes.
it's a good world, if it's a good time to be a vegan because there's so many different products. But I'll be honest, like when I was cooking in the restaurant, all we had was a garden burger for years, or like a
Yeah.
Boca burger. We did all these different brands out nowadays. You got options, and some of them are starting to taste good. And we have one of the ones that I think tastes really good. I stand behind that.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. It sounds like what you're saying, you really do believe.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I want to see this company succeed, and I
It's
guess
awesome, man.
that
We're lucky to have
translates.
you.
True.
Super
Yeah,
lucky to
and
have a
True.
person like you.
Yeah.
hours are cutting down, so I'll basically be just doing this. I'm doing Veg Fest in Puyallup
Veg
Veg
coming
Fest?
up at the
Fest.
Puyallup State Fair. It's like going to be like 3 or
Tell
four
us.
thousand people.
Veg Fest.
So if you guys want to swing by
What is that? Oh, you're
What kind
gonna
of?
have a booth
Puyallup
up
State
there.
Fair, yeah,
Cool. Let's do it. We'll make a trip out there.
they wanted us to come. They're paying for they're giving us a free booth, and they're going to give me
Woo.
helpers. So I'm like,
No
yeah,
way.
awesome.
Heck yeah.
You guys
Yeah,
want to
No, it
be a
should be a
fucking
good
volunteer?
place for it.
You guys want to
Sure,
come
I'd be
hang
down
out
to
with me
help.
for an hour?
Heck yeah.
That'd be
Come-
awesome.
When is it? What day is it?
May
It's
13,
in May.
14,
May is
15th, I think.
a long day.
May 13, 14.
Gonna make a record in the month of May.
Look on my calendar.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'll have to
that sounds.
consult my
I haven't
calendar.
been to the Puyallup Fair in quite a while.
Yeah, it's
Last time I
13th
would, I didn't
and
really.
the 14th.
May 13th. Okay.
Yep,
Mark
Saturday,
that
Sunday.
down. 13th,
Anyways,
14th.
but thanks for
Cool.
throwing me some curveballs. I haven't had
Yes,
anything that stumped me, but I don't
Well,
ever
you
I don't ever
didn't
look
let
at
us
life
try,
like that.
dude. You
Well,
didn't let
I
us
know,
continue the
but that's fine.
conversation.
You probably could. That you probably could. What's in it? I only know the basic ingredients, and it's pretty basic anyway. So I don't, But go ahead, throw me something. I'd like to think. I'd like to think on.
Okay. Let's think of stuff. Uh, what is your company's stance on the war in Ukraine?
Wow. Unlikely question. I think
No more
rebellious.
good cop.
I think rebellious is rebelling against anything that's bad, and I think that war is bad. So I think we're against the war.
I see how you spun that. Well done.
Unnecessary killing.
Nice.
Okay,
Nice.
unnecessary killing.
You could point to the, just to the fact that it is your company is lessening the slaughtering of animals
Look. I'm against the war in Ukraine, just like I'm against the slaughtering of chickens. Okay, Ukrainians need to be free and chickens need to be free. Now try a nugget and shut your mouth.
It's a nice touch, yeah.
Hey, get over here.
The command.
Go
the
get your
command at
fucking
the end
shine
is
box.
good.
You're invading my sovereign territory with your soy nuggets.
So what's this estrogen level thing? Is that true?
Let's talk about it. So there's been a debate around soy
I don't know.
impacting people's estrogen levels. So let's do a basic search on this and see what comes up.
I'm supposed to avoid debate. So
Yes.
basically what I would say is, well, I'm not really
Lead them
sure on
away.
that, sir.
You
But
put it
I
down.
would always,
Yeah.
I would say, I think it's good to be cautious about what you eat. And if this doesn't seem like the right fit for you, no worries.
Fuck off.
Don't try it.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
Great,
Fuck
great.
you.
No.
No.
I don't say
No,
fuck
no.
off, but you see how I deflected?
Yeah.
That's
You
how you do
deflected
it.
very well. Yeah.
I basically say, oh, I support what they're doing and why they're so adamant.
You know what?
You take the punch.
Okay.
You take the punch, and you use that forward momentum,
Yeah.
and you do a judo throw.
This is really valuable, Matthew. Since when you do this, you speak to dozens of people. Maybe even hundreds, right? Maybe we can use this as a way to do like short surveys for people. Like you just throw in a question that's like out of left field, then you continue on with what you're. But the survey question could actually get a kind of like an idea of what
Okay.
what people are thinking, or
All right. What do you want the survey question to be?
I don't have any
Free
question,
will
but-
or
Okay.
aliens? Which
Oh,
would you
okay.
rather?
So
anything really.
Okay.
It's just a way to like
okay.
just throw
How
it
about
into
this?
conversation. It doesn't
On the
have
table,
to be
on the table, I'll have
something we need to know.
a trivia question. I'll have a trivia question. A, B, C. If you get the trivia question right, I'll give you a
Nugget.
like a free coupon, or I'll buy you a blah blah blah. And it's got to be a hard question, right? And then if you do, so if you get it right, then you have to answer this secondary question to get the free thing. So basically, that would be the question where I'm gathering data.
No,
For
it's too
example,
too formal. Too formal.
no,
It's got to be
no, for
casual.
example, uh, what movie starred Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey? What rom-com? And then you give three multiple choice.
How to Lose a
And
Guy in
if
10 Days.
okay, perfect. So you won. So now you get I'll hand you this free one coupon for a free go. You can go buy any one of these. You just take it to the front. You get a free package, but you have to answer this. How do you feel? Are you for or against the war in Ukraine? Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
Oh, it's too much pressure, man. You won't
No,
get
no,
their
not
real
that
opinion.
question.
Okay.
For or against?
No.
I'm
But
for
even
it.
just setting it up in that capacity, it takes them out of the element of the ordinary conversation by
Yeah, I get
having
it.
them answer a multiple choice question. But
Yeah, I gotta
anyways,
get going
just
soon.
gotcha. Well, just the fact that you have access to people, I mean, like you can get their opinion on whatever you have an interest in, even if it's not related to the product. And that way, that's just a great way of building rapport with people, getting
Hmm.
them to trust you. You're basically,
That's the other thing is people just start talking.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
You're just,
They'll
you
be like,
know,
they'll
No,
start telling
but
me about how like, I know somebody who's vegetarian and the whole like and they're like and they'll go down this long. Oh, I tried sometime. This one time when I was a little bit, and it's like this like 4 or 5 minute long spiel. And I'm like, oh,
yep.
that's great. And then 3 or 4 people behind them are just like,
get the fuck out of the way. I want my free samples. Get away. Give me my chicken tendies. Give me my
Okay,
soy
so
yeah.
tendies
And
right
actually,
now.
back to the soy, real quick.
yeah,
Apparently, the soy
isolated
isoflavones,
soy protein.
they can bind to estrogen receptors in the body and cause either weak estrogenic or anti-estrogenic activity. So it's not,
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's well known that eating soy increases estrogen and maybe even potential of breast cancer, but I don't know about that second one. But
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
it's like
Causes breast
everything.
cancer? Did you just say that?
If you mess with estrogen levels, yeah, yeah.
Sure.
But
Why would
No.
having more estrogen
does
cause
eating
cancer?
soy increase estrogen and cause breast cancer? Here, I'll read the article.
Well,
We're in
why though? Why
delicate
would having
balance.
more estrogen cause
Okay.
be bad for
Uh,
them?
because
Because you
I
can't
think breast
process
cancer is disrupted hormonal balance.
glands.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay.
So there's different
Wouldn't
types of
that be
estrogen in
thyroid
the
thing?
body. Okay, so does eating soy cause breast cancer? All right. So soy is actually helpful for both preventing cancer and reducing its reoccurrence. We've seen lower rates of cancer, so soy does not cause breast cancer. She clears up the confusion by explaining that there are two different types of estrogen. Our
Mm-hmm.
bodies make estrogen a hormone to keep our
Mm-hmm.
reproductive and all other internal systems humming along. Estrogen can fuel certain cancers, like breast cancer and prostate cancers. Our
Yeah.
body's estrogen is different from the type of estrogen found in soy, which is called phytoestrogen. So, estrogen
It's
can potentiate
synthetic.
cancer if you have it.
A synthetic version of estrogen. Is that what you're telling me? It tricks the body.
In a way,
Yeah,
because like
in a
the
way.
Okay.
receptors,
Stop
Yeah,
right
they
there.
fit
How
different
much?
shapes.
Where's the studies that tell me how much
sure.
you have to
It's
eat
fine.
to make this?
I hope we're not causing concern. I'm sure it's
No,
like
it's
radical
interesting.
Not at
amounts.
all. No,
Let's
just
figure it out. Here, let's do the
I'm
research.
asking.
Okay.
Let's
How much
empirical
soy?
the fuck out of
Mhm.
this.
Get Jamie on board.
Yeah, he's doing this with one hand. All right, so how much soy does it take to increase estrogen levels in a person? That's the question.
And how does it act by? Does it act by taking up the uh, the receptor, and because the receptor isn't getting the normal
It
amount of
doesn't take
estrogen,
much
it
of
isn't actually
Eugene's
getting
mom's
estrogen,
estrogen to
that it
get on my dick.
overproduces to make up for it. Is that the idea?
Mm.
And then there's too much because fake estrogen has blocked the receiver, right? So it's not getting.
Okay, so
Reuptake
does it affect
inhibitors.
older women or more than younger
Okay.
women?
Probably.
Not sure about
Usually
that,
things
but
affect older women more.
here's the thing about dose. Like in any dose or anything, I mean, most things in the wrong dose are a poison. We know this, right? There's like there's a spectrum, but apparently to
Yes.
raise
Chemistry is a
your
spectrum.
yes, to raise your estrogen levels significantly, what you would have to do would be drink 2 cups of soy milk a day or eat 1 cup of tofu. So, and that produces 500 to 1,000 times higher than typical estrogen levels in men. Soybean isoflavones also possess some attributes that separate from their estrogenic activity. Okay, so 2 cups of soy milk or a cup
Two
of
cups.
tofu.
So
Two
if you
cups.
if you have a grande soy latte, you fucked up. If a man
Yeah.
has a grande soy latte, that's it. That's like, isn't that 2 cups of soy
500
milk?
to 1,000 times. I
No
think,
wonder I've
but
been
this
so
is
emotional lately.
this does say it's. I mean, that was in
All right, but
response
you
to
know what?
women.
I'm drinking oat milk, not soy milk.
Yeah, you're good.
Nice. You're fine. You should be all right.
But I think it might be more pertaining to women than men.
It is
Sure.
because the
men
only people that have said that at the
estrogen, too.
demos are women. I can't
Yeah.
have too much soy, they say, or they say something very generalized like soy's not good for you.
Yeah, I see.
And I go,
Right.
Okay, so you need a counter
well,
argument for
why don't
that.
you just when you ask that whole entire Asian culture if soy's, you know, like, come
Well,
on, man.
the men in Asian cultures are highly
I think
feminized.
maybe it increases the chances of having a female child, and maybe it also stunts your growth because Asian women are short and they, the mammary glands aren't huge.
This
I don't
is
mean
great
no
theory.
disrespect.
More than a mouthful is enough, right? Is too much.
Okay, but
Well, what I
let's
just said
look
was a
up.
mouthful, but
Yeah. Okay, so let's
No, but you're
look
right.
up some
You're right. I don't know
actual
if there's causal relationship
studies.
between the two, though. Actual studies, yes.
like published studies, peer-reviewed.
Peer-reviewed, double-blind.
okay. So this is one
placebo-controlled
curveball. What's the
studies.
next curveball? What else would you got? You can keep researching.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be
okay.
the guy who did exactly what you said, who just started a conversation with you about nothing and kept
Yeah,
you
yeah. Just
enraptured, and
Yep.
all the people are behind.
lead him into dark waters, and then
Yeah,
like
it's like,
hours
oh, yeah.
later.
We would talk about music, we talk about the dobro, that kind of stuff.
Dude,
And dude, what if you
People
put
don't
in
scare
Bluetooth
me, man.
speakers
Not
into that
not
little
not
spot?
not in the slightest. In fact, like
Scared? No.
I'm more
No,
afraid of
I would
my own
amuse you
my
to
own.
death.
People are easy.
Yeah,
Rubik's
easy like
cubes.
Sunday morning. What's hard? If people are easy, what's hard?
Hard would be the type of mental disability that is something that silver tongue nor anything could get through to intellectually. So if you can't win them over intellectually or emotionally, and they're like so far on the end of the spectrum where they need someone there to be. I've actually had that happen once so far. A guy, I actually just bought him. I just bought him something. He was clearly handicapped and he couldn't answer any like direct questions, but I could tell he really liked it, and I was like, "Oh, great!" And I go, "Well, here's the coupon for draw off," and he kind of looked at it, and he couldn't understand what I meant, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Here. I'll tell you what." And I pulled $5 out of my wallet, and I said, "Here, you take this, and then you take this, and then you take this package of food, and you go up to the counter, and everything's free." And he understood that. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to sit there and like, you know what I mean, interface. I just made his day and moved on. You know what I mean? Like Rain Man. He's like hot water baby, and I was like, no, hot water, no hot water here. Okay, it's okay.
It's
We
an air
turn the hot
fryer.
tub. We're gonna
It's not a water fryer.
It's an air fryer. No. Just we'll go blow on it like that. You know what I mean? Just figure out what the problem, what the workaround is. You know, just find it, and you know.
There's always a way to
okay.
get through to people.
Right. Yes.
If someone takes a swing at me, like physically, I would avoid having any sort of physical confrontation unless I saw someone hurting someone else. I would jump in. But if someone,
a given.
I would subdue someone. I would like subdue them, like in a chokehold or something. But I wouldn't physically assault anyone.
You got to start practicing jujitsu. The next step.
I'm pretty good at jujitsu.
Are you?
Yes.
Yeah, we should have a little wrestling match, all of us, one of these times.
We should. That'd be interesting.
I'm out of shape though.
Have you taken jujitsu?
I just know some. I know a few moves. Know a few of the holds. I don't know any of the complex like leg bars and quite all of the movements, but yeah, all the basic ones: standing, rear naked choke. You know, leg R bar, leg bar.
Is one where you grab the toe, right? There's a toe one.
I don't know about that.
Can
one where you just like grab the toe, like.
Dude, wrist locks. Even wrist locks are so incredibly effective. Just grabbing somebody's wrist like this and just like pushing it in, like.
Yeah.
There's some very basic things that you can do. Just like if you know the hinge points,
the pressure points,
just so many pressure points right here near the TMJ.
Yeah, our body's only
put your
bent.
fingers there. Try it.
Bend one direction usually. Yeah.
Yeah, you could with just
the temple. The temple's also very weak. Get hit in the temple. That's concussion too.
Sound like Steven Seagal.
Just break the elbow. I don't use guns. Kill them clean. No dames. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is a good point. Like, if someone comes at you in some sort of aggressive way, you got to figure out a way to disarm them. And that's fun.
And if that means taking their arms off, that's what you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, watch. Tomorrow or my next demo, I'm gonna get the craziest shit happen. It's gonna be funny. I'm gonna be like, dude, what the fuck was that? Going real just real quick. Just going back to that last story you told me. Do you think that guy ate those nuggets in the parking lot after he bought them, or do you think he fried them?
He
actually did have a friend with him. He had a friend with him that would nod to me. You know, like when he understood.
That's right. Give him the nuggets.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
He kind of but at first when he came up to me, it's like the guy couldn't find him, and so he was just wandering around the store. And I was like, "Cool, how are you doing?" Like, he could talk, but like I said, the vibe I got was autism or Asperger's, and to the point of, you know, where he wasn't. I don't think he even knew what we were talking about sometimes, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, so he was like in a group home, or he was with a family member, and you know, just.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
they were having an outing. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's nice. It's
exactly.
nice to have a conversation with someone who is so delightfully oblivious to.
I prefer that.
All the worst parts.
That's
of
so
society.
true. Because normal people are so closed, and they're so. I hate the word boring, but just like, okay, I predict this whole conversation. Ugh,
Well, yeah,
move. Yeah. So
the
trying to throw
predictability is a
curveballs.
function.
Yeah, yeah, throwing
Yeah,
curveballs.
yeah, the predictability thing that if you can guess their conversation and basically have the whole conversation and know where it ends,
So this
then
girl got, I think, somewhat offended one time, and I didn't think I was offensive.
What you
what'd
We
you
say?
have
say?
stickers, right? I have like a little thing that I set out, like stickers and swag, little buttons or pins and fucking shit with the, you know.
You got
And
flair.
I go here, have some of it. Everything was going great. Like her friend was with her, blah blah blah. Everything was cool. And then I was like, when she reached for the sticker, I go, oh, you like shiny stuff, huh? And she's like, oh, so I'll ignore that. And I'm like, what are you implying that I think you're like a gold digger or like you go
A
after like
raccoon?
something shiny because it's like jewelry? Like what
Raccoon,
what what was
yes.
what was offensive about
Yeah,
that? I, I meant that as a compliment. Like like you're drawn to shiny stuff too. Like that's cool. Like
Was
because our stickers are really cool looking. They're like
it's
hologram and they have a
basic observation.
yeah. She just
That's
and
unfair,
then there you
man.
go. Like I didn't get upset, but like later on, I'm like, that's hilarious. Like you,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what you do. It's just people take things the way they
yeah,
take things, and
they
yes.
are offended. It's not that
They're
you
putting it through
offended
their
them. They
filter.
just are
they were
offended.
already offended before they showed up. You know,
Yes,
Yeah, they're just
100%. They were
blaming
just
like you. Yeah, you too. Yeah,
I'm
that's all
just
they're
I'm
doing.
just a fucking means to an end for their internal dialogue. I'm just leading them to the middle of their own internal corn maze.
no, you're just being put through their filter, a reality filter, and then everything is like an overlay. Whatever they're going
Yeah,
through, their
yeah.
emotions,
Yes,
every
Like
the
yes.
world.
pe- like people
They see
talking
the
about
world through
sodium.
that.
They're like,
Talk about Jesus.
can't have that too much sodium, and they'll walk off. They don't even say hello. They don't even treat you like a fucking person. It's like
Well,
you're just a robot ATM or something. But I could give a shit less about that because that, you know what I mean? Next kind of
all
vibe,
right.
right?
Back to the soy. You guys wanted to know about the soy. There's this study done by Montana University. There was a randomized control trial performed in Japan. Okay, it's talking about trial Japan in 2014. It utilized 35 Japanese men. So the test group consumed a cup of dairy each day for 3 months, right? And then they replaced that glass of dairy with 2 glasses of soy milk for 8 weeks. When the test group added soy milk to the diet by just 1 glass each day. Okay, so their serum estrogen levels showed a statistically significant increase over the 8 weeks. The control group who continued with dairy showed no increase in serum estrogen. This may suggest that soy consumption, even in small amounts, has the capacity to raise serum estrogen levels among men over time. In another study performed in Japan, one Japanese woman at 85 years old was given a soy supplement each day for 20. Let's not include that. That's just basing it on one study with one 85-year-old. Come on. The
That's not a
35
study.
men will do. It's not a study. It's just like an
It's
observation.
a single case. Yeah, it's a case study.
Yeah,
but
exactly. Anyways,
sure. Um, all right. That one cup a day thing. It's interesting. I wonder
for
who
months.
performed the study, who paid it, like what was their methodology, how big was the sample size, all this kind of stuff. It gets very, very in the weeds, so to speak.
Oh yeah, this was a summary basically of a study done in Japan.
Mm,
Okay, insights gained from 20 years of soy research by the Oxford Academic Journal of Nutrition.
the Oxford Academic Journal of Nutrition, you say? Oh my.
Okay, so
Hmm.
here's the conclusion. Soy foods represent first and foremost a healthy means by which to obtain protein and to add diversity to a diet.
Hmm.
Okay,
Anything in moderation, dude.
yep.
So these
Including
people that say
moderation.
I can't eat soy, blah blah blah. It's like, you know what? you can't take aspirin. You can't take a whole bottle of aspirin either. Okay, you
Of
can't
course,
fucking
anything.
eat American cheese only. Like nothing only, right?
Right.
Are
Everything in
there other
moderation. In
kinds of
fact,
cheese?
burger or like a processed fucking chicken fucking everything is probably way worse than your own fucking soy nugget. I mean, I don't know if that's all you ate, really. Okay, that girl who ate just nothing but chicken nuggets and fucking died. Remember that chick?
What?
Uh, I'm not
Yeah,
surprised she died.
no, she had really bad health problems. She was only like late teens, early 20s, and died. It's all
I
she would
mean,
eat. She was so picky that she wouldn't eat anything
it's not
else.
real
Look it
chicken,
up.
right?
I'll find the article. Hold on.
It's not like
That
chicken nuggets are real chicken.
that makes sense, right? I mean, it's
It's just,
I
chicken
mean, you need a balanced nutrition,
paste.
obviously, but
Yeah,
um,
I think you can't eat it just one thing.
yeah. That's.
Anyway,
I think that's the moral of that.
it's from
uh,
McDonald's too.
Balance. Oh,
yeah, it
okay, that
doesn't.
makes way more sense.
Stacey Irvine collapses after eating only McDonald's chicken since the age
Yeah,
of 2.
yeah, yeah. That's
Rushed
since
to
the
the
age of 2.
hospital ever
Right.
since she
So
was
a
a toddler. That was
two-year-old
how picky she
decided what
was.
she wanted to eat.
Mm-hmm. You're
This is
telling me.
toddler logic. We'll kill them,
She was anemic,
right? So
had
instead of the
inflamed
parents saying
veins in her tongue.
Imprison them.
Her body was so deficient of
imprison,
vitamins
yes.
that nutrients had to be injected. Yeah,
It's crazy, dude.
yeah. So there you go. Yeah, put that in your estrogen
And
patterns.
what are their
Of
did the
course,
parents get arrested?
doubt it.
She actually, I'm sorry, she didn't die, but she was severely hospitalized, and they had to put her diet has changed, and she's a better person now. But it was like here, and this is what eating just this, or
Yeah,
it's kind of a
it's been done.
perspective piece about fast food and
Indeed.
you know what I mean, being picky.
Yeah.
It's also a a moral of the story is don't let children decide what to do for themselves. They need
I,
assistance. They're
I,
incapable of making those decisions for
they,
themselves.
they weren't driving to the McDonald's.
That kid
Somebody
didn't
was.
go to the McDonald's on their
No,
own. The
that's
the
another
kid was
factor.
presented with options
Yes,
and said no, and the adult was like, "Fine."
maybe there were no options.
Maybe they
Worst
only
case.
went to McDonald's, or the kid only asked that. That would be worst case. Yeah,
Yeah.
the dollar menu at McDonald's. Um, I don't know. That's if that's the only option. Like, who thinks that's the only option,
Just like save up, get some peanut butter.
right?
Way
Right.
better.
You could even get peanut butter and jelly in one jar together. Goobers. It costs. Ugh.
Yeah, yes. Yes.
I
Well,
remember
that's
thinking like, oh wow, so convenient to have everything together. It's like that's so cool. It's like all mixed in, so you could just eat one thing. And I remember as a kid thinking like, oh yeah, we should totally get that. My mother was like, no, no, it's horrible. It's two of the worst kinds of those things together. It's it's not even as bad as they would be separately. It's worse because they're together. It's like,
yeah.
so,
It's amazing how some things potentiate other things, right?
yes. Yeah,
Like
I mean,
that.
if you put cinnamon in that goober
Like
stuff,
like Glozell potentiated the cinnamon challenge. What a
she
gift.
did.
Thanks,
That was the
Glozell.
most potent. Glozel, yeah, she
The
is the most
ladle.
potent. It's just,
If that was very
it's like
entertaining, regardless of whether that was intentional or not.
she chose violence. She woke up that day and she chose violence. She's like, okay, this is how it's gonna be.
The
Yes.
ladle of cinnamon. Well, we've learned something about soy today.
Yes, we
Did
have.
we?
We learned something about cinnamon today.
Yeah,
Well,
cinnamon, and about being a salesperson. That's a unique, very interesting outlook. Just the interactions with people.
I know.
It's a very cool kind of social kind of work. You get to interact with people, and you do believe in
I don't
what you're.
feel like sales is my calling or anything. I think
But
the difference is like applying
well, yeah,
what you know
use the tools. You
to
have the
whatever you're doing
tools.
in life.
Use them for sure, dude.
Yeah, like you guys are both
Absolutely.
really good with people, so therefore you're a salesman. You're not trying to sell me anything or trick me, but you're charming. You're good. The way you talk to people comforts them. You have humor. You use humor as a tool. I use that a lot during these demos.
That's just basic
I
human
try to make
connection,
people
isn't it?
laugh. I'll make fun of myself. I'll do anything I need to do just to get them to smile. Because remember, the way you make people feel is what they remember. And if I'm out there representing a company, I'm not doing it to be a shill or to try to get people's money.
Dan.
I'm doing it to say, hey, I like this stuff. Do you want to try it? Maybe you'll like it too. Cool. Well, here, let me give you $1 coupon. Have a good day. Thanks for trying. I'm not like, hey, buy 5 and you get the 6th one free. You know, I'm not fucking opening up a suitcase of snake oil and
Right.
saying, if you rub this all over your body, you won't get cancer when you eat soy.
well, you might still get cancer, but it'll feel good.
Yeah. Don't sell people stuff that they didn't ask for. And
Yeah.
you know what they asked for just by how they present themselves. Like if someone's got headphones on like these, and they're walking by, I just wave. I don't try to get their attention. I don't stop them because it's clear that they're trying to disconnect. So you got to read the
Yes.
room, man. Just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
with Nick on stage doing comedy, you got to read that room, man.
Yes. You read the room, and then you read them the riot act.
And you read them their
And
fucking rights, and you say, "You can't handle the truth. Soy
exactly.
doesn't cause breast cancer." Oh, see, there you go, Nick. I lost Alex again because he doesn't know all the American pop culture. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
No. I haven't seen that movie.
Oh,
A few good men.
a few good men
No, I haven't.
with Jack
I haven't.
Nicholson.
Yeah. Yes.
I've heard about it.
But yeah.
I've heard about this movie.
It's David.
It was like a mediocre joke. Like, trust me, Nick didn't even laugh. It was kind of reaching,
No,
but
I didn't laugh because I'm a shark. You have cold eyes.
because you're sitting there thinking
That
about
guy.
Jack Nicholson. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked
You
him
want
in
me
The
on that
Departed.
wall. You need me on that wall.
Good
Yeah.
impression.
Yeah.
Good impression.
He was a
Sorry,
substandard Marine.
sorry, I've missed out on a few hangs, man. Lots of stuff is changing at work. So, for example, let me catch you guys up. Like,
Self-care. Do what you
the
need
part
to
of
do.
my
Thanks
work
for
that's
joining
self-care,
into the
bro.
challenge, by the way.
yeah, the part of my work that's took up most of my time is now gone. So we have a 3PL doing the shipment. So I'm back to doing Renaissance Man, doing stuff with biz dev, reorganizing everything and doing all these odd jobs around. But my hours will probably cut back significantly. So, Alex, I'm gonna put all my effort into getting our amp thing launched, and I want to get together with Nick and
Yes.
try to come up with an idea to get this. Nick, did he tell you the dude that we met? This business might be able to if
I
we play our
haven't
cards right.
mentioned it to Nick. I was gonna wait until you reached out to
Yeah.
Mark and
Yeah, wait till I talk to him, but he can make us a circuit board. Like, you know, he's got all that stuff like a company.
Matt, give Nick a short summarized version of this Mark gentleman and how he came into the picture.
He makes pro audio equipment for big venues, big corporations. He
And
also
he
designed
recently
a certain
retired.
Yeah, he recently retired. He also designed a if I put the link to his website in the chat, that'll help.
It should show up. Yeah, that would help.
So I basically was calling around to try to find some amp repair techs to get some of these amps fixed and resold. And I called this one guy for a guitar, coincidentally, about that
Dobro.
Dobro guitar we were talking about earlier. Just trying to see if anyone knew anything about fixing those, and he's like, I don't do amps or guitar, or no, he said my waiting list is out till June. So I'm like, okay, but do you know anybody who works on amps? Any local amp techs? Because I don't like to call the stores like this. If you call like a music shop or they're just gonna find a guy. They usually don't have an in-house amp tech. So I'm trying to go straight to the source. Anyway, he gave me this guy's number. Let me go in the chat here. And I called him up and started chit-chatting with him. And one of my favorite amp companies, Quilter, QSC Audio, actually makes, so he's worked with QSC and design stuff, which just really made me happy as a fanboy. Did you get that in the chat?
In the chat.
Got it.
Okay. So I caught him at a good time in his life. We talked on the phone for like a half hour, 45 minutes. And I was telling him about, me and Alex wanting to basically build clones of amps with custom enclosures. He makes his own amplifiers, by the way. And he's like, yeah, I can print my own circuit boards. I can do, blah, 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 this and that. So as a mentor to learn about electronics, to help us sort some of this stuff and to also bounce ideas off of, I was like, he was willing. So I'm So, and I'm drafting an email to him now, just with some pictures. And he's worked with Altec Lansing, which is one of my favorite speaker companies. So, but anyways, so Nick, I want to get together with you, and I want to design this portable audiophile level preamp or whatever you called it. Remember for home listening.
Is it like a direct box /
like a direct box, but something you can use for whatever, your TV or your fucking stereo, And so if me and you can come up with a good enough idea, this guy can make the fucking circuit boards for us. Me and you can fucking populate them with all these awesome vintage parts that we have. And then we can go to the next step, which would be either we get the aluminum and we get the bender, those benders to make our own chassis, and we just do 50 at a time, or like an old tube amp, like a tube amp for a vinyl record or something. I just want to get you involved on trying to come up with something that would be both new and old. It would, like I said, it would have Bluetooth. It would have Bluetooth capability. It would have, RCA inputs, not just quarter inch and USB, whatever. So
it might be an issue. The tube / Bluetooth thing might be an issue.
Well, you could have one circuit be
if it's shielded?
transistor, and the.
Oh yeah, there you go. There's a way around it. Power section could be tube.
Okay. You could have a switchable variable power section. So the Bluetooth section would be preamp, so that if any power scaling needed to happen, it all happened before the tubes. The tubes are just your power amp section.
Yep.
So what do you think, Nick? Right? What do you think of this guy's website? What's your vibes? Tell me your intuitions.
I mean, it looks like he's done a lot of stuff. Like he's totally 10x. He's full stack. He does.
Yeah.
He does all of it.
10x.
And a bag of chips. Senior developer. Principal developer.
He has also done the software stuff, writing programs. Yeah. So if we needed to use a spin chip, for example, to program to do all of the switching and all of the management, this like a spin chip or some sort of
Like an
he could do the
Arduino
code.
or Raspberry
Yeah,
Pi.
Arduino. Yeah, and
You
he said he made some revolutionary particular version of that. So like I said, I don't know enough about it, but this dude is our first candidate for trying to go into business. And I told him we're not like we only want to present you with what we're like trying to do, and you tell us what you can do to what your involvement you'd like to be. If it's just helping us design the circuit board and having it made through your wholesale, whatever, and then showing us how to populate the boards with components, fucking let's just do that. If you want to build amps with us, like, cause you see, he has his amps on there. He like that's his hobby. So he told me he caught me at you caught me at a good time. I just retired. Now I'm starting to do things for me, things that I enjoy. So
Well,
tube amps,
let's
he's
take
into
him to
tube amps.
Cooters. Okay.
He's into making home stereos. What? Cooters?
home stereos, pewters.
Upstairs.
Yeah, that's cool too.
Yeah.
Also, like uh, speaker kits that are transducers. You know, like
Mm-hmm. Like
speakers that are just
you would put them on any
plank-of-wood,
sort of
like bamboo.
vibrating, yeah, or a
We
piece
know
of
a
foam,
bamboo
and you
guy.
got like a loud ass speaker, yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Eugene has done
Those are
documentaries
incredible, and you're right. Those are the future,
of
because any
Yeah.
hollow thing you could potentially
Yeah.
have, you could even have a folding one that you'd fold up and just set up
Like a
wherever you're at.
suitcase.
Yeah.
origami flat pack speakers.
Yeah. So a piece
Yeah.
of foam
Yeah.
just hanging on a tree while you're out camping with a powered Bluetooth transducer situation would be
Yeah,
fucking
the
dope,
preamp.
running off solar.
And
Yeah.
it runs off a very low. It would require not a lot of power, right? Because a normal
Yep.
speaker requires mains power because you're using a magnet to move a
Right.
physical object a lot. When with a transducer speaker, you're moving a very tiny piece that vibrates a piece of wood, so it uses less current. I think
Yep.
a smaller preamp, with some sort of battery pack. I mean, all the technology exists to make different things. Like you have,
Yeah. So this
you can
guy
put a
lives in
battery pack in
Magnolia.
it, a little Raspberry Pi, or you mean you can run Linux off of a USB thumb drive, so you can have that stuck in, and it could be a whole computer. You download new
Right.
sounds or samples or whatever you want, and
I mean, yeah.
But Nick, what questions
We come
would
up with
you
the
ask
idea, and
of this
he
gentleman?
could be the consultant for making the digital analog design. He could do like a 3D mock up. He could show us how to use CAD to make the circuit board, get it made, and like I said, we populate them. We are the builders, and then
That would
you know what I mean. Coming up with
you'd want
a
to start
marketable
with having
thing.
a working model, right? We got to
Yeah.
make a working model in order to
Yeah.
to recreate one.
Yeah,
So, starting there.
and
Well,
like
yeah.
he might have insights on how we can take. So, for example, me and Alex have a bunch of these old, from anywhere from the 40s to the 60s, old home tube amp stereo chassis, just the chassis. And I asked him like, can you reverse engineer these? He's like, yeah, that's easy. But the thing is converting them to nowadays power. So you need to make some
Voltage.
adjustments. But if we found the perfect, like really easy, simple, old Mako or something PA amp and took that chassis and the topology and built up off that, it could be a cool thing. We could
Ah,
find the perfect thing,
Yeah,
because
people do like retro
potentially.
look with modern
yeah,
functionality and modern quality
it's
of
hot.
Yes.
components.
It's hot right now. It
Uh,
really is.
Sure.
And that's custom. We could bring them
Audio
to,
files.
trading musician, lots like
Yeah,
custom amps with a
yeah,
unique sound. Build your own. It's a one of a kind amplifier. Like nobody has this amp.
yeah. And
A
remember,
boutique
the
amp. That's
ones
what
you used
people
to be able
like.
to order mail catalog. What were they called? What were they called, Alex?
Now
Heath
you can
kit.
order
Not sure.
females from a
Heath kit.
catalog.
Heath kit. So we could make
Heath
kits
tech.
and people could build them at home. You know,
Yeah, that would be cool.
that way
Yeah, do like
we're just
the like
supplying. Yeah.
IKEA. You send them
No,
the idea of shipping is flat pack, like
like
because you get
Mojo
furniture.
Tone, for example. You can order the chassis, the enclosure, the speaker, all the tubes, everything, and they give you instructions to make your own fucking Fender Champ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what is the use case for that? Like what is the buyer? The person who wants
Who's
a
the
Dude,
that Fender amp but can't
it's
exactly.
afford it,
huge. Go on any
and they're
forum. Like
mechanical.
people who have never done it before want to do it. If as long as they have easy to read instructions, we make a video. You guys would be great at that. You guys are photographers. We make a really
Yeah,
good video.
that part we could do marketing materials. I could do a
Yeah.
concept and like what could I be? What could I add to this?
And I don't.
Well,
I would say
marketing and
stop worrying about, not you. I mean, but we should never worry about making something that's already out there, because everything's already out there. What
Yeah, that doesn't
we should
matter.
do is focus on making something fucking good and easy and
Something
accessible
useful.
and useful
cheap.
and cheap. Yeah,
Sure. Accessible.
and you have to start cheap to
Modifiable,
get your
maybe.
shit off the ground. Like my pedal company, we didn't make any money off it, hardly at all until later, and if
course.
that. But same concept.
Learning curve.
So you're on board.
Yeah, man, I'm down.
Uncle
I
Vin.
also like woodworking stuff like that.
Yeah, me too.
Metal.
I love
Yes.
that.
Metal
Fun
work,
projects.
It's a bit
fine stuff
like
as well as large
finger jointed
finishing.
pine cabinets. Best things for fucking speaker cabs.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a router, you can make all
Yeah,
kinds of.
I got a
beautiful
router.
joints.
Hey,
Okay.
Matt, if you need help drafting that email, send it over to Nick. Maybe he can boil everything down potentially
Sure.
if needed.
Copyright.
Well, send him what you sent
And
me, and then I'll send him the rest.
Sure. Okay.
And-
So I just made a list of just potential talking points with Mark regarding what we're interested in and how we want to use the components. I'll send that
Well,
over.
What? How did you meet him? What is your relationship?
Remember,
with
I
Mark?
called.
It was just
I-
Matt. I haven't met him.
Yeah,
Oh.
I called a local guitar luthier that just popped up in Google. Basically, he was just a single guy, and I talked to him for a few minutes about repairing a guitar. Since his wait list was so far out, I was like, okay, well, I also have other things I need repaired, like an amplifier. Do you happen to know any amp techs in the area? And he said, no, I know one guy. His name is Mark. Here's his number. Boom.
Marcus.
He's the best. He's the best.
He looks legit. I mean, his work should speak for himself. It does.
So he lives in Magnolia, like I said. So I don't mind commuting. I mean, it's not that far. It'll probably take me 15 minutes to get there. But you know what I'm saying? If I want to go over there to his house, I would like to sit with
Oh.
him and be like, let's show me how to make this fucking thing right now. Like
Or
with
here's another priority we had in mind. So we have things more or less organized now. The unit is much more accessible, boxed up mostly. It's looking good. And we're organizing things into boxes, transistors with transistors, capacitors with capacitors, to whatever capacity we can. We wanted to be able to catalog and basically make an inventory.
Yep.
We were potentially considering bringing a box or two over to his place to see what he would say either about the components, or if he would show us a method to identify them, just see if they're functional, go through some of the most like grade A components that we have, so we know what we do have for when we do decide to build, or if we want to sell bulk or whatever we decide to do with the components.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
the inventory is good. At
Yeah.
your probably your best bet would be to finish a product rather than sell bulk, you probably don't have enough quantity to make it worth your while to try and wholesale out a bunch
No,
of
no, this is going to be
products.
like a bespoke, small amount.
Yeah,
Okay, but the idea, if it's something that I could build, and I could build 10 of them, and at least 9 of them work, I could feel comfortable enough to say, all right, well, now I can
yeah,
order parts and
Yeah,
just
exactly.
do
Got to do
this.
a trial run
right.
and
Yeah,
use
you
it
Yeah,
got the
for a certain amount
prototypes,
of
the
hours.
prototyping and testing. Yeah, and 10% fail rate on a prototyping product, that seems pretty reasonable. Uh, but yeah,
yep,
I mean, all of those things, what people like, the effects that people like are all the same kind of like reverbs. You know, there, and then there's like, I just want a weird effect that does some things I don't know. So it usually you need 2 variables or 3 variables, then you can really change sounds, right? And
Yes.
each of them has to do
right.
something different. So if you have 3 permutations, and
Mm,
you could just change what each of those dials does, right?
yeah.
Like you could um, assign this knob to reverb and that knob to notch filter, and then this one to distortion or overdrive, right? So then you can mix those symbols, or you can change them. You can like cycle through. If you
Yeah.
click the knob, you can cycle through the thing. So like there's 3 independent circuits, and that kind
I
of
see.
there something like that would be interesting, and then people wouldn't get tired of the pedal, right? Because you have 38 pedals because they all do something different, and then Boss or whatever, at Digitech, they make multi effects pedals. Like, oh, now I have put them all into one, and it's kind of, I don't know. It can be kind of weird, like how many of them are actually useful.
And how many do you
Are
actually
just
need?
presets, right?
Right.
So it's like it's the combo pedals are often too much in one, and the
Yes.
specialist pedals are often like way too specialized. So
Yes.
there's a middle territory in there that
Strymon.
I think is, you can nail a niche in there that's maybe the sweet spot is 3, maybe it's 5.
Maybe it's
You
4.
know, it could be totally. It could be 4. Like you have volume as well, so you need a 4th knob. So you have
Right.
3 factors and 1 overall volume, and that's the other thing is like the inputs, right? There's a lot of people. Oh, is it
Yeah.
only a 1/4 inch input? Well, there's only certain things you can put through there. But what if you could input a 1/8 inch stereo, like out from your phone or from like that. So you're putting the sound, you're using GarageBand on your phone, and then you put it through the pedal, and you can do the effects. So it's like digital plus analog in that way, and then output it to the amp. Or if there's a way to create sound from the pedal itself, like have like a speaker in the pedal. I don't know.
But
Right,
it
Maybe that's a little.
doesn't necessarily have to be like guitar oriented. That's another thing. It could be like stereo,
Yeah.
like a useful
So they're taking old
preamplifier,
PAs
amplifier
and making them guitars, conversions. Yeah, anything with tubes. Yeah.
exactly. Converting a tube stereo, vintage tube stereo,
Yeah, look at
into a
Mako.
modern guitar
MAACO.
amp or a modern. Yeah, we have a couple really good
The
examples of that. One of
Mako's
is
old,
a German
yeah,
Echolet.
Echolex,
MAACO, like the
something like that.
the auto body shop play.
No.
Mako.
But okay,
MAKO.
so
Right.
I also
Oh, I see.
I have to change gears, and I need to ask you guys a very, very important question.
We're listening.
Lori and me are going on a trip
Oh
for
yeah.
2 weeks.
Mhm.
And I would love, you guys are the 2 people that we trust to watch our cat. Would either of you would be willing to come stay at our place? It doesn't have to be the whole 2 weeks. You guys, one could take 1 week and the other one could take the other week, and we would compensate you for your time. You could play all my guitars if you want. Just clean up your fucking semen when you're done, okay? And no dead
Whoa.
hookers. But
But I
yeah,
don't
no,
need
seriously.
anyone else's. I only have to clean
Can
up my own.
can we move to next phase 2 where we talk about it being a reality? Because like
Okay,
it's
let's talk about the
June,
possibility.
end of
June,
June 26th
end of
to
May.
the 9th of July. June.
June
June.
26th. Okay, I'm sitting the doxies from the 28th to the 10th. So I'm doxing like almost that entire time. You
Wait,
said the 26th.
would you
so
be
the
up?
first 2 days?
Okay.
The first 2 days.
So we're looking for someone that would want to, would come over and familiarize themselves with truffles, become friends with her so that she's not, and then just hang out because she's still a little kitty,
Yeah.
Yes.
And we don't want her to
There's somebody there.
we don't want her to freak out because we haven't had her that long. And so
Yeah, she needs somebody gentle.
we're thinking it's my son feeling, so maybe but I think normal might be a little bit more shocking. But you guys ponder it, okay? I know you said you only have a couple days, Nick, but if that please let us know. So I guess Alex, let me know what you think, and
Yeah, I can. So I'm taking care of Echo here, and my grandmother duties are based around here, but I could probably stop in a couple times a week.
Right.
So if we can figure out timing, we could probably figure something out. We just need to know the days.
Would you be able to
I could come and stay
you
for
be
a
able to
couple
stay the
hours at a
night?
time, Maybe, potentially. I have to look at my schedule.
I know some pet sitters.
I mean, it's pretty
as
centrally
well.
located in terms of if you have appointment, clients up north, clients south. You're really far south, so being in Seattle is pretty good for you. I mean, wouldn't it be? Or do you
It really depends. My appointments are everywhere. Sometimes it's like far south, sometimes it's far north. It varies. Like tomorrow, I'm working in Redmond.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is my son, but he works. I think we could probably make that work. Yeah. What?
Yeah, you're cutting out. I can hardly hear you. If you get closer to the phone, or maybe it's your internet.
Okay, so is that better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Much better.
Is that better?
Yes. Mucho mejor.
So we're trying to figure out how much time my son could be able to you know what I mean? Because he has a vehicle now. Or I mean he has a license, so I'm also going to talk to him and see, but please,
license.
We'd like to know that someone can at least just check on her and, you know what I mean?
Well, what's your
absolutely.
neighborhood again?
West Seattle, Fauntleroy. I'll give you my address.
But not on stream. Don't dox yourself, Matthew.
Yeah.
Oh, I know better.
Maybe there's somebody out there who really likes cats. Who wants to reach out to Matthew.
Yeah, somebody.
Maybe one of our 3 listeners.
Yes. One of them that isn't us. Uh, yeah.
All right,
For what kind of price point were you thinking of this product? Were you thinking like $100? You thinking $400? You thinking, you know,
Per
you tell
unit,
me.
right?
there is some Behringer vintage tube overdrive pedal TO 800 for $29, and this is like
We're
these
back
are
on this
all,
now. Okay.
yeah, Chinese manufactured pedals. So
Yeah,
those
I
the
actually
exact
have a
price
Behringer
point.
mixer right now. They're fine,
Yeah,
but
that was my first mixer as well. I mean, when
dude,
Uli was putting
look,
stuff together,
PV, everybody fucking knocks PV. Fucking come on. If it works, it
he's
works.
legit.
Quit being a snob.
I had a 208 chorus, be backstage chorus amp.
No, I signaled both of you for triangulation. So just no, look,
Cool.
just don't no pressure, okay? And again, anything's better than nothing. So if we don't have anybody, I'd have to ask somebody from work. And while that might not be an issue, I'm a very private person. I don't know. So only people I can trust. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Understood. And Matt, for
Yeah,
things like this, it'd
we
probably be best if it was a couple people, like multiple people stopping in at different points instead of somebody staying there for the entire time. Or it might be easier to find people.
well,
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Why do I
well,
say that? Just because, I mean,
The probability of an unbroken stretch of days
yeah,
of availability like that is
yes,
low.
right.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. But the thing is, there's only two key cards, and I can't
I see. Okay,
orchestrate.
gotcha. I
You'd
see.
have
So
to do a
that's the limitation,
handoff,
guy.
and
Oh, that part I
um,
could definitely handle. If it needs facilitation with meeting with other people, like
yeah,
I
yeah,
could help in that way, you know, because I'll
right.
be in town. If like,
I
hey,
can get,
the new
I can
person's
basically,
coming
I
in.
can get you in the front door. I can give you a pass, like, to get you in the front door through the thing, but the elevator you'd have to wait to get someone to like
Oh my gosh,
open,
dude.
so you get on
I've
the
shot a
elevator
lot
and
of
then you
like
push.
units for companies that are like they have like vacation rentals, and a lot of the times they give me the info how to get into a building, and sometimes it doesn't work, so I have to figure out a way to get into the building, and yeah, it's a nightmare. But every time I do it, I'm like, every time I get into a building I'm not supposed to be in without the code, I'm like, haha.
Oh yes, yes. This is a well-known joy of the
Yeah,
dog walker.
the
Uh,
dog one.
the the front door fob doesn't work, or something like
Yes,
that, and just like waiting for
pin
the other
pad.
person to come in, or one of the keys fell off your huge wad of keys for all the dogs you visit. Like,
Oh,
where's the key for this? uh,
yeah,
some
so many
horrific
codes.
disaster, and now you're outside with the dog and you can't get back. Like, you
Oh
have the key to the
no.
inside, or you
Yeah.
can, their apartment door is open, is unlocked, but
Uh-huh.
the outer door is the one that gives you
Oh,
trouble. Or they
yeah.
don't have a key to that. They've got a code, and you're like, oh fuck, I forgot the code. Why didn't I write it down? Where is like I lost that piece of paper. I took a picture of it in my phone, but my phone doesn't have battery, so I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
see the
yeah.
code.
Oh,
What was the code? And you just like hang around, wait
yeah.
till somebody comes out, like, hey, oh, thanks. Like you look at
Yep,
just
yep.
looking at your phone, like, cool, and you grab the door and hope that they don't, think you're a murderer. You try and
Yeah.
you put on your
Okay.
like, no, I seriously, I won't stab
You just
you
have to walk to
later.
the elevator right away. You
Yes.
just you gotta
Yeah, just
go
know exactly what you're
very
doing.
confidently. Yes.
Although if you have the dog at that time, it's hard when you don't have the dog, you're not coming back with the dog. Because that's
Yeah,
easy. People let you in with a dog anywhere. It's like having a ladder. You
for
can
sure.
just walk into any place. with
A ladder. Okay,
Uh,
you're right about that. Or like
but
power tools, right?
or like high vis. Yeah, something totally. Like, oh
Rob
yeah,
a
he's
bank.
supposed to be here. Yeah, you're like, no, just I'm fixing stuff. The thing.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
taking out this
but
wall here.
like being nervous, like, oh shit, I forgot the key. Waiting outside to get into the
Yeah,
building will not get you into the building.
true,
Right?
true. Like,
Like, hey, can you let me in? Oh, just yeah, I totally.
Look what
it's
I
very
just found.
sus. That's the key
Yeah, look at
card.
those fobs.
You got the
Key card.
fobs.
No, I just found some
Yes.
keys.
So
Okay, so let's
hopefully they
consider
won't
those
have
dates.
like it's a
We'll figure
microchip,
out.
right? They just chip you, like inject a little thing under your skin, and then they scan it, and that's how you get in. You tattoo a QR code
It
looks like
on
this.
your forearm.
Yeah, you could
Oh,
probably
just
get that
normal.
under the skin.
Yeah, Amazon One. Like people are, you've seen them at Whole Foods, right? They have the little things where you put your palm over it and it scans your palm.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
They have them at Whole Foods?
they have them. Yeah, so like, hey, have you seen people pay with this?
Did you
It's
lose
like, yeah,
keys?
people have done it.
I was just about to call. I I just saw them on my way back out. They were sitting in there. Yeah. I'm so happy. I'm so happy I found you. Yeah. I had a feeling. I was like, they're probably gonna come back. So you just caught me on my way out. Awesome. Yeah, you too.
See,
Matt's intuition strikes again.
it's nice. He's a nice guy. Like, it's good when this guy shows up. It's like, hey.
Things get found.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so this would be what it would be like. You guys would, you see this?
Yep.
Beep. Yeah, and then he's gonna drop out being in the elevator. It's gonna be over.
Yeah.
Oh, he's still here.
So
He's walking us
that's how it
through it.
works. See?
Fabulous.
Anyway, think it through. Okay, I gotta get going because I gotta get up in the morning.
All
I
right,
love you
man.
guys.
Thanks for jumping on. It's great to have you and chat with you,
Hey,
bro.
let's make this success out of just creating something
Lemonade
that
in tubes.
is really good and not for money. Just making a good thing, even if they only make 10 of them. I just want
We
you
have
guys
components.
to. I want
We
you
have
guys to
quality
help me see
components.
this through.
Let's
We have all that shit
make
we
them
needed.
alive.
You're right, Alex. God damn it, was fucking promised. We promised Martin.
Yes.
we're
Let's do it.
bringing things back to life,
Hey,
one
and
thing
then-
at a time.
What's the worst case scenario? We all have a fucking rad ass home audio fucking thing. Right on.
worse
We
things.
win. And we
Cool.
learn a bunch
Worst
of
case
super fun.
scenario is that we order 150 units. And we
No.
print
No,
all these
we're not-
circuit boards.
we don't
then
go to
we
step
get
8 when
inventory,
fucking
and
step
then
2
we get
isn't
another
done, okay?
storage unit.
That's
and
the
then
worst
we,
case
we,
scenario. Yeah.
and we have to
No,
scale
this
it,
ain't-
and
no
then
snowball.
Yeah.
we run out of capital.
Yeah, we Joseph it.
Yeah,
All right, I'll text.
Well
I'll
said.
text the dates, okay? I'll text the dates.
Okay, man.
Yeah.
We'll talk it over,
Alright,
see what
guys.
we can do, but
I
we'll
gotta
be
go.
happy to help in whatever
See you,
capacity
man.
we can.
Yes. Very nice. Very nice. Well,
It's full mafia.
it could be fun to build
It's got
to
to be
build these
specific though,
pedals. Very specific.
and it's not limited to pedals. You know, like
It's anything, any product that combines
those
hardware,
components.
a cabinet. Yeah, like that's to me is very exciting. It's like, here's a box of
Transistors.
stuff. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What do you got here? You know.
What could you? Yeah. And life gives
they-
you lemons, and life
Yeah,
gives you
like-
transistors.
Make. Yeah, a lot of people are like, well, you could make a transistor radio. So, yeah, you could. You know, just slap the shit out of them, or you can make a sweet amp that is also like has effects in it, and
You know what would
man,
be?
that would be super great. Battery
Think
power.
about this. Think about this. So Bluetooth, right? Bluetooth is really useful,
Mm.
buddy. Bluetooth is useful, but there is a signal loss, right?
And there's
So
latency
yes. So what if I wonder if there
and
are
interference in the signal.
preamps that exist to help basically like remove that factor or boost the signal, kind of like a preamplifier that does this via Bluetooth. Because that would be useful. Because everybody uses Bluetooth headphones, but there's people who want the quality of, high
Hmm.
def, like, you know, there's got
Yes.
to be something like that out there, like Bluetooth preamplifier. Because I've seen a Bluetooth signal being run through a tube power amplifier, but I don't know how legit it was.
Yeah. It would be. I would like to see uh, what the amperage requirements are for tubes. I know it's pretty high, but I mean it would be interesting if you had like a portable player, right, and then the receiver. So
Even a
whatever that
single
signal
tube would
is,
do it, man. One
maybe one.
12AX7 would give it enough warmth for it to make a preamplifier sound awesome. Even if it's like a so I use every once in a while I use I use headphone amplifiers. And the ones that I use are like transistor based. They're very small. I think the company is called Alpen, Alpen. And they're like this big
Hmm.
for the one that I have, and it's just different gain stages. I can flip it to like +6 or +12 gain stages. So it just like ups the kind of the headroom
Yeah.
and
Okay.
and just and with more with higher end headphones, they require more output. So
Yeah.
just to get that perfect gain level,
Yeah. Like these are super high
yes.
impedance.
Like if
Uh.
you just were to plug those into a phone, the volume
Ve-
levels would be underwhelming.
yes.
But
Very.
but to get
It's
it
like
to sound
250 ohm.
yeah, but to get it to sound completely ideal, you want some power. So I
Hmm.
wonder if something like that exists out there. But at this point, it's very this idea is. I mean, we're just trying to make something of these components and talking to a guy who might be able to potentially help us take the inventory or at least figure out what we have, put a value on it. That's essentially what we're trying to
Hmm.
approach the dude about. We're not trying to overwhelm him with a project, like just this cosmic project. At first, it's just like, hey, we have these components. Uh, what are they worth? What could we do with them? Or where can we sell them? Or what can we make
Right.
with them? That's some of the information that we're trying to acquire through our
Well, some of
interactions
it's
with
got to
this.
work. Some. I mean.
Oh, most of them are like pristine condition. Some of them are in packages. I can send you photos. We've taken photos of like the bins that we have. Some of them are packed with transistors that are still in their seals, like completely original. Everything is labeled.
Hmm.
It's pretty impressive. Like it's a
Hmm.
it's a pretty big stash of high-end transistors that probably aren't being made anymore. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
ceramic resistors, like things that you are really difficult to find, but are very specific especially to kind of amplification and circuits.
Hmm.
And I know some of those components are worth a good amount just based on the fact that they're new old stock. And they're made with higher quality components than the current components out today.
Ah.
Yeah,
Oh
higher
yes.
quality
Totally.
metals, higher quality. Mhm.
Glass. All
Yeah,
of it. Yeah.
yeah,
The welds
ceramics.
are probably
maybe
better
not all
to.
machine made. I don't know, but essentially we're just trying to see what he says about the components and how we can apply them. But anyways, just something to think about, something to consider. We're going to be trying to be in touch with Mark, and we'll let you know how that goes. But we'd love for you to get involved in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, man. I mean, definitely. Let's have a conversation with him and
Yeah.
brainstorm some stuff and see what's. Oh man, look at this guy. Look at this guy. El Tigre.
He's doing good.
Yeah,
Taking him
nice.
outside on walks and letting him run around the house at certain points of the day. I lock up the other Bengals because they're still like touching to go. I accidentally left one of them in the room with the other without knowing it, and here's get the story. So I'm like, okay, I'm going out of the house. I want Echo to run around in a bigger room. So I take him to my parents' room. I in a cat carrier. I opened the cat carrier and I brought his litter box. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be gone for a couple hours. I close the door. I come back. Echo's on the bed, and Lexi, his mother, is on the ground, and they're like a few feet away from each other. But they're calm, like nothing crazy. So I'm just like looking at them. I'm like, I don't know if shit went down, but you guys look okay to me. So I think
Yeah.
those two get along, but I guess his grandmother, Gina, she's like this little, tiny little Bengal, maybe like a third of the size of him. She's really curious, and she's just like sitting. She's always sitting by the door, just waiting, like playing paws and stuff. Very, very curious little Bengal. So he's always just like staring at the door, but it's
And
it's going good.
do they like they play back and forth at the border? Oh, he's trying to go out.
Sorry,
No, you're fine. You're fine. Well, yeah, you.
but we'll we'll
It's
d- we'll talk about the cat sitting potential dates and availability.
yes.
We'll see
It's
what
gonna
we
be
could.
tough.
It is, but maybe with
We'll
his son
find a way.
involved, yeah, between three people, I
That'll
think
be
we're gonna be
good.
gone for what, like 2 weeks? I don't know.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
France, riding electric bicycles.
It's in France. Yes.
Okay, let's land the plane.
Land the plane. Well, I do have a
Quote.
quote of the
Perfect.
day, and it came up in conversation yesterday, and
Okay,
so
that's good. It
I was
relates.
like, okay, this is
Gotta hear
perfect. But
it.
it's been completely germane to everything we've talked about. It's
Sure.
it's from it's from Ephesians, and it's about like let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice, and be ye kind one to another, tender hearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, hath forgiven you.
Beautiful. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Yes. Yes, it is.
It's good advice.
He is risen.
Sounds
Yes.
it sounds like something Peterson would say. We're all bitterness and wrath.
And wrath, it's not good.
Hey,
It is.
Bucko.
You're gonna
Okay,
quit your clamoring, Buckle.
and
Yeah, clean your room, okay?
what a force. He's gonna be doing this for as long as he lives, I'm guessing, Peterson.
Oh
Like
yeah,
the
he's
world
not
needs
gonna
him.
stop. No,
No.
no, you can't. If benzo withdrawal didn't get him, if the woke mob didn't get him,
Yeah.
You know,
Twitter is his vice at this point. I'm just kidding.
I mean, he's with the Daily Wire now, so.
Yeah, that's another beast, right? Because he's under
Mhm.
their corporate reign, and they have their own interesting webs. But okay,
Yes.
let's. I we began this with me mentioning Nassim Haramein. So if we can pull up a video by Nassim Haramein, so Nassim Haramein, Haramein,
I'm in.
Haramein,
Yeah,
and
got him.
put in tetragrammaton, tetragrammaton.
Got you.
All right, and just start playing the video, and I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'll be right back, but I'll be listening. I'll mute myself.
All right. So share the screen here. Video has no sound. Oh, I see. By rotation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this cube and this cube beneath it, and then the pyramid, which would be beneath that. If you rotate that 360 degrees, you get all of these lines.
Sacred geometry. Yes. Okay.
Is it this one?
I think that it's the one that's an hour and 8 minutes long, but we're not gonna. We're just gonna just start it from the beginning and no sound. I want you to just listen to this character of a physicist. He is such a character. He's like Eugenian in his. Oh no, no sound.
Can you
You
hear
gotta
it?
hear this guy speak. No, I can't hear him.
Okay, then. Oh, I see what happened. It's
Mhm.
sharing sharing as a window, not as a Chrome tab. Share tab audio.
Mhm.
This guy. Okay.
Perfect.
So I go home in Whistler,
You can
right?
hear it.
Yes.
And I was dealing with Stars of Davids and all this stuff. I knew that I eventually I
Talks
would
like Eugene.
have to
I
go
did
to
with
my
Stars
local
of
church,
Davids.
and I got a Bible, and I started to study it, and I studied it, and I had very amazing experiences at the same time, and I started to study it in details, get different Bibles, different translation, and looked at the text, and I, all of a sudden, I realized that the Bible was not actually what I remembered it to be. Mostly because I was, as a young kid, I was studying the New Testament, but because it was Christian. But I started to read the Old Testament, and it was really amazing. I was reading it, and it didn't seem that my concept of the Hebrew God had been appropriately being interpreted by the Catholic Church, because I was remembering
Correct.
some guy on a throne somewhere with a beer, with a pair of
Beer.
binoculars and a 2x4 waiting for me to screw up, you know? And I was very stressed about that. But
A pair of binoculars and a 2x4.
In a beer.
Like, and a beer. So it's like a redneck, a fat redneck wife beater wearing guy, like on his porch with a lawnmower that doesn't function, died where it still surrounded by grass on the front lawn.
The conception of God.
Yeah.
But the way I was reading the Old Testament, it was quite different. It didn't describe God in such a way. It described it in something much more close to what my studies were about. And I
Good the way he
was
walks,
stunned
too.
by that. For instance,
Yeah.
in the Bible, you can find a
He's a skier.
description of God as some kind of equilateral
Ski instructor.
triangle on a throne, right?
Throne.
Had to do with geometry. And I was stunned by that. I mean, it wasn't an old man considering me as a sinner, but it was some kind of geometry that was described as
It was a 3-sided shape. So it was Trinitarian.
the throne of God, the point of interaction between human and God. And there was various allusion to it in very specific parts of the Bible. And eventually I saw that they were describing as well these angels that radiated in this
Yes.
tetrahedron and describing it as like crystal seas and also
I like to change the speed.
technologies and
see
geometries
how that
and
changes,
physics
like-
much more
Yeah,
than
yeah.
some old guy with a beer on a throne. And I was surprised. That's not what I had remembered. And I continued to study it, and
Like, I think you could
realized that
pull
the
off
Old Testament-
1.75 on this guy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
still
it
understand
is
it.
ambiguous because
See?
the Old Testament described God not as something that's somewhere in the
Way
sky
better.
or anything. It describes God as an object. It describes that they have some kind of link
As an
or
object.
communication with God through an object
right.
that they call
My
the
ear
Ark of the
died.
Covenant of God.
Ark of
And
the Covenant.
They weren't kidding about that.
Remember
I mean,
that?
when you read the Bible and what archaeologists find, they actually built one of the largest temples in the world, the Temple of Solomon, to put this object in the middle. It was a very, very large temple with extraordinary large stones, and it was this ark object had to be shielded.
Look at this. Is this AI generated artwork?
I don't think so. This was
I mean,
prior
look
to
at this
AI.
composition.
From everybody else,
This is
and it was enclosed in this holy of holies
years ago.
in
This
the
is
center of the
15 years
Temple of
ago.
Solomon that was surrounded with concentric walls, very thick walls, in which initiates had to go through very specific initiation level to be able to go from one wall to the other, and only the few could ever go into the holy of holies. And they describe all sorts of things that happened if you went in the holy of holies or in the tabernacle.
Is he talking about a nuclear generator or some sort of energetic generator
That's what-
that has to be
that's what he's alluding to.
protected?
Shielded.
with
Well, think about it.
concentric
Remember,
locks. Very interesting.
remember the
Without
guy
having gone through all
dying
the
who
appropriate
touched the Ark of
levels
the Covenant
initiation. If you weren't ready,
wasn't supposed
it didn't
to?
seem like it was a pretty sight when you came out, right?
It's like a
And if you
discharge.
did. And so I was intrigued with that. I was looking at many of these plates where they showed this arc object, this box that had gold on the outside, gold on the inside, and wood in the middle. And right away I realized that's got to be a capacitor. And sure enough, you know, if you do a box like that, you can generate large capacitance. Capacitors are like batteries. They hold energy. They hold charge. And then the difference between a capacitor and a battery is that a capacitor can discharge extremely rapidly, where a battery cannot. And so capacitors are used in all sorts of electronics today. But basically, there are an electrical, a dielectric, and an electrical plate, which creates like a container for energy. So, and this large arc capacitor was described as having a sphere or thing in the middle of it that was very radiant. Like they described how they had to shield themselves from it, and they had to wear very specific clothing to go in there. And
Could you pause it?
if they didn't, they would come out of there with their sunburn, basically, like burnt into their face. And,
you pause
and so
it?
on. But then I kind of came across something. What happened is I thought, wait a minute, they're calling this the Ark of the Covenant of God. And I was like, well, what does God mean? And so I was looking for an answer to that. I did a lot of research, and I couldn't find exactly, this Yahweh and all this, and I couldn't find exactly. And then eventually, I actually just opened the preface of my Bible by error or something. I started reading it, and I found the answer. And it says right here that the name Yahweh, the divine name Yahweh, YHWH, is currently the translation, or is used as the Greek terminology, the Tetragrammaton. Now, for a guy like me, when you are reading one of the most, sacred books on the planet, I guess, and the person is describing God,
I guess.
and the translation is Tetragrammaton, okay? I'm starting to have ideas. Can you, okay, you guys probably can see where I'm going there, right? I was stunned. Imagine that every time you read the word God in the Bible, you could translate Tetragrammaton. So you could replace all the gods and lords in the Bible to Tetragrammaton. And then you get a really different reading, okay? It's like, oh my Tetragrammaton. And so I looked at the etymology of this, and I thought, well,
Yeah.
the word Tetragrammaton is typically, if you look at the root word,
Hey,
the
tetra
tetra
is four.
refers to four, right?
Yeah.
The four faces of a tetrahedron. Typically, the translation is then done as tetra for four, grammaton
Closer.
for grammar. And grammar or letters is interchangeable, and so it's the four letters of God, Yahweh, YHWH. And grammaton was what was intriguing me. So I digged a little deeper, and I found that actually the word grammaton has a deeper root than grammar, in which it refers to the weight of an object, and that's where the word gravity and gram came out of. So all of a sudden, you could have a different interpretation of this word that says tetrahedron gravitation, right? Something along those lines, right? I know that might sound very, a long leap, right? But this was where I started, and I was really keen on continuing my research because it was promising. They were talking about tetrahedrons or triangles on the seat of God, and they were describing tetragrammatons for the force of God, and I was getting, inspired, to say the least. So I continued to research, and with this word tetragrammaton, I was able to look further and dig deeper, and I was intrigued. There's a lot of sacred societies that have a lot of information and all this. One of them, and certainly there seems to be an oral tradition that was passed in the rabbinic tradition from one to the other throughout the ages that wasn't allowed to be written. It's very clear in the Bible that the name of God or the source of God, whatever this God was not allowed to be just discussed publicly. It was very sacred, and it had to be transferred from one initiate to the other in a very sacred way. And its traditions that transferred the information were called Kabbalistic traditions. So I started to study the Kabbalah and the Kabbalistic tradition and what they had to say about the Tetragrammaton. And when I did, I came across various esoteric manuscripts that we're going to see in a minute. But the other thing that puzzled me is that in many instances, the word Tetragrammaton and Ark of the Covenant and all this, in the description of what was going on there, it was describing something very interesting to me because it kept on talking about the force of God, or the Tetragrammaton, having a vortex of fire or a vortex of clouds above it. And it describes it in the Bible in various instances. And it says that...
This is... I'll watch this whole thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to get you a sample of
have you seen
Nassim
this?
Hermain.
Have you seen this whole video?
I've seen this whole conference.
There,
There's hours and hours.
I lost the sound somehow. Here, I can't hear you, or...
1, 2, check 1, 2. I can hear you.
Okay, yes, now I can hear you.
There you go. Yes, I just wanted to show you who this guy was. He has some interesting theories. Nassim Hermain, that's his name, but I've seen the whole conference basically, and it's like hours and hours and hours, but very interesting information. Very interesting information. Yeah, give it a go. He sounds like Eugene, but the content is actually pretty fascinating. Even his really older presentations, especially that one in Canada, or wherever he was, that same kind of layout. Yeah, check that out. It's something to listen to because he's a physicist who doesn't agree with any of the physics that kind of exists today. He has his own kind of understanding of it, and
okay. I
don't know where he is now, but he's a very interesting guy. And this piece about Tetragrammaton, he basically equates the Ark of the Covenant to almost like a nuclear reactor or something that generates a lot of power, because if you remember, it was used during war. They would take into battle and it would smite people. You remember?
With the
Philistines took it.
The Midianites.
Probably, but then the Philistines took it, and then they all developed boils on their bodies, and they're like, take it back.
Oh, they plundered it.
Yeah,
Right?
they took it. The Philistines.
The Philistines.
Yeah.
It's always them. All right, I have to look more into this.
All right, man.
And the history. And the history.
And thank you for the
sharing.
quote. Do you have a quote?
Yes.
It's a good quote.
Yes. Yeah, that was. I mean, it's a quote. It's a quote, technically.
This quote. All right, thanks for making time, brother. Have a good
all right.
night. It was a great chat
You
with you
too.
and Matt. We'll be in touch.
See you, man.